Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Otts here, and it's Monday morning, and the Raptors pulled it off again. Another double W victory day on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Was super fantastic for Toronto Raptors, Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, and all the rest of the great Raptor people. That's right. I put Masai in there still. That's right. But yeah, impressive win over Indiana. We saw the debut of Trace Jackson Davis, and the Raptors 905 had a fun game too. Both teams blew their games open in the third quarter and did amazing stuff in the third quarter. And there were people on both teams that did it. Scotty, of course, in the third quarter had his greatest quarter of his career yesterday. I truly believe that. I think that the third quarter of the game yesterday was the best Scotty has ever played in his NBA career. And once again, we're seeing signs that Barnes is going to be at the top of the league very, very soon. I mean, Darko said again after the game in his press conference, this guy's he's the defensive player of the year. He's a all-star. He's a finals MVP. He's going to win a championship. He didn't go as far to say he did say he's the MVP of the league. But I would say he's all NBA also. I mean, that play the way he played in the third quarter, if he can play like that consistently for a while, he's going to be one of the top 5 players in the NBA, because what he did in that quarter was very honest, very, very honest. The stuff that he was doing was transition, bullying. I am going to the basket like a runaway train, and you guys can't do a damn thing about it. And he did it a couple times in that quarter, and it looked really impressive. Really, really impressive. As Scotty understands his powers on the court, he's figured out that he has to do what the game demands. That's what he was saying. The word that he kept using after the game was, excuse me, I'm just doing what the game demands me to do. And I think that's awesome. In some ways, I wonder if he does keep an ear to us, because one of my criticisms of him last week was when you play a player, it's a matchup, like you versus Siakam, you need to beat them. You need to outscore them, because when you outscore them, you make our team more likely to win the game. And it did feel a little bit like a Siakam Barnes duel for a little while in the middle of the game, where it was, the Pacers were going really solely to Siakam at a stretch. And Scotty just decided, you know what, guys, I want to go ahead and just do this old school NBA duel. This is something the NBA used to always do. There'd be some shit talk, and Reggie and Michael would go back and forth, going up and down the court. And it'd be like, we're just giving these two the ball, and they're going to show their extraordinary talents on offense going back and forth. This was part of what made the NBA so fantastic and popular in the 80s and 90s, was the matchup, was the big dog against the big dog for each team, and who's going to outscore each other. It's crazy how we've gone away from that model of marketing this league, Adam Silver. You're an idiot. You should be doing this more. You should be taking the marquee matchups and really, putting a lot around them more, and even and getting the announcers to influence this more. But no, you guys went away from a tried and true model for the NBA by not focusing on these matchups. And well, Pascal versus Scotty is a fun matchup, and it's fun for those two guys to play against each other and do it in the court, and to see it as a fan, it's very fun too. So yeah, that was fun. The dueling of Siakam and Barnes was evident for a little while there, and I think that may have been partly the catalyst to get Scotty out of his unselfishness shell, because this is a big thing. Scott won't do this kind of stuff like he did in the third quarter automatically. In some ways, he needs some gumption. He needs some reasoning, maybe. Maybe he's like in his head last night, his psychology is like, I'm playing Pascal. I love Pascal. He's my favorite player. I want to beat him. I want to look really good. Maybe part of it is also that Scotty has comfort playing the Indiana Pacers, and that in that particular team matchup, he feels very dominant and strong, and like it's easier for him to take control and do some of the stuff that he did last night. Either way, whatever you were thinking last night in the third quarter, Scotty Barnes, put that in a bottle and keep it. You need some more of that, and you need to figure out how to recreate that stuff and make more of it, because that is going to make you at the top of this league, man. That play was on both sides of the floor, The defensive stuff we take for granted, you're going to do it because and in some ways, it's the dirty work and it's the stuff that you're going to show up and clock in and do no matter what. It's the offensive stuff at the same time that can just make you top five in this league. Top five. Siakam's fun to watch, but Scotty, you're a whole different kind of player. Whole different kind of player. So we got the stars of the game. I'm going to go over the box scores for both the Raptor games yesterday. Fantastic double W for the Raptors organization. Raptors 905 winning shorthanded against the Motor City Crews without their two ways of Elijah Martin and AJ Lawson and Jonathan Mobo. All of them were up with the big club. I was wrong yesterday when I speculated that they would be with Andrew Jones because injuries were clearing up for the Raptors. I was completely wrong, and I'll admit it. When I make a mistake, when I say something that isn't accurate, well, I'll circle back and make a correction. I was wrong about where the two ways and Jonathan Mobo were yesterday. They were in Toronto, not in Mississauga. And, well, Andrew Jones's team, with only 8 guys available to play, they took care of business. Oh, yeah. We're going to go over that. Let me get into the comments from the old stream. I do still have the comments from the old stream, guys, and I will read them. Trevor J's words of wisdom for today. Thank you, Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. Every situation in life is temporary. So when life is good, make sure you enjoy and receive it fully. And when life is not so good, remember that it will not last forever and better days are coming. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, gratitude in in all senses is important. Gratitude will get you out of the dark spot. Even if everything is like you are in a bad place where life is not so good, you can find the one thing that you have gratitude for and focus on that. That is where you get your door through back to the other side. You focus on that one thing that you have gratitude for. It could be a person in your life. It could be, a certain thing. Like I'm so grateful I have a lot of food that I'm able to eat. You could have all kinds of different things that you have gratitude for. And once again, whatever you put your perception, your focus will multiply what you get more of. And if you want to focus on the really dark, bad stuff, you'll get more of that in your mind in what you're perceiving and looking at. But if you can find the beauty, the good things, the things that you're grateful for, the things that you have this greatness, gratitude for, that will multiply those kind of things. I have a bunny in my yard right now. I feel so grateful to have a bunny in my yard, even though it's minus 30 out there and I'm worried about the bunny freezing to death. But then I remind myself the bunny's got the fur and the bunny is feeling gratitude for having the fur. That's a roundabout way to get to this lesson. Either way, blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Trevor's saying that double win for 905 and Raptors. Juju, 20 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, and Scotty all NBA performance on Indiana. Yes, the heroes of the day yesterday, Scotty Barnes and Julian Reese, the younger brother of Angel Reese, had a coming out party yesterday with a 20-point, 17 rebound game. And honestly, it was funny. After the game, they interviewed Julian, and he was miscounting his rebounds. He thought he had 3 more than he did because he wanted to get 20 and 20. And after the game, he realized he only had 17. So he had miscounted his rebounds. He was trying to get 20 and 20, is what he said after the game. Julian is amazing. I'm telling you right now, I'm strongly advocating for this, that he needs a 10-day with the Raptors at the very least. I would like maybe like Bobby Webster. I'm not going to totally tell you how to do your job, but I'll suggest to you, can you convert AJ Lawson to a standard contract and get him on the Raptors proper and get him out of the G League finally now that Oshai has been traded? And can you put a two-way on Julian Reese as soon as possible? Because Julian Reese is a very good player. People are, in some ways, he is dangerous. People will come try and get him from us. And I want to put a pin on him and keep him in the Raptors jersey on one of our levels at least, because this guy's a keeper. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of shades of Trace Jackson Davis and Julian Reese, and both of them, they're similar kind of players. So if you like Trace Jackson Davis yesterday, you'll definitely love Julian Reese. But yeah, man, you guys got to figure this out. Do not lose Juju Reese. Seriously, Bobby, you have to covet this kid and keep him in our program. I do not want to see him going to another team because I know he's a good one. And I know he's the one. I'm telling you right now, Raptors Freak approved, verified, and bona fide, and given the seal of approval from Lex is Julian Reese. Bobby, keep this guy in Raptors organization by all means. Please do this. Seriously, seriously. Trevor's saying that Jacoby will steal your cookies. Jacoby Walter got the chain yesterday, and he didn't really score a whole lot. This is similar to what happened on Saturday with the game that Adriana and I went to. AJ Hogarth got the chain. AJ Hogarth wasn't the leading scorer for the 905. He just had a very important steal at the end of the game that was crucial to the Raptors 905 beating Grand Rapids Gold on Saturday by 1 point. And, well, this is kind of similar thing with Jacoby. Jacoby was a standard statter in the game against the Pacers yesterday. He was dog. He was the epitome of dog on defense. Dog with a big D to start how to spell it. And he got 6 steals yesterday, guys. Jacoby Walter had 6 steals in the Raptors game yesterday. And that is part of the reason why this man was wearing the chain in the locker room at the end of the day. I was sure they could have gave the chain to Scott. Obviously, Scotty had the greatest quarter he's ever played as an NBA player, and he was just amazing. But in some ways, it's like, look, this is just how it is. It's like, that's too obvious. Scott gets chains all the time. And as Darko put it, and when he was giving the chain out, he said, I wanted to be righteous. Righteous is what he said. And he wanted to recognize the effort, the defense, the steals of Jacoby Walter and give him the chain yesterday, which was cool. I have no problem with that. Trevor J saying Jackson's first double as a Raptor player. Jackson Davis coming out and getting a double-double, and it didn't even seem like he labored that hard to get it, did it? Nah. Did it seem like he didn't fit in? Nah. It seemed like he fit in like a glove. That's what they asked him after the game. Is it easier to fit in with the Raptors because they play similar play sets to the Warriors? And he said, yep. Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier because we do play similar play sets. So, I mean, that makes sense. Trace, he's coached by Jama, I believe, or maybe not. Maybe he missed Jama. But either way, it makes sense because Jama was the offensive coach for the Warriors and Steve Kerr for a long time. So some of the groundwork that Jama set up with Steve Kerr is still in place, even though Jama's been with us for 3 years now. That, there may be the same architect is involved in the Warriors offense with the Raptors offense as far as Coach Maha Halea. And, that makes sense. And Trey seems like a smart young man. It's amazing to see add water and boom, instant little dinosaur. Just put the caps on the water, boom, dinosaur. You instant Raptor. That's right. That's what this is, Trace Jackson Davis. Put that capsule in the water, boom, you've got an instant Raptor. And he's ready to play with the team, and he's already up to speed. That's awesome. He's a very intelligent young man. He's a hard worker. And I like the philosophy about why this is why Sandra blew up with us too, is because Darko just basically tells these guys, just be yourself, play basketball. Let's keep it simple. Just go out there and play basketball. Well, what does Trace do well? He rebounds well. So he's like, okay, well, what do I like to do on a basketball court? I like to go get the boards. So that man went and got boards because in some ways that's something that'll always work out for getting playing time and staying on the court if your board man gets paid. And Trace did that, and Darko loved it. It's like he'd say that. He's like, listen, if he just goes out there and gets rebounds all the time, I'll play him all the time. It's weird. It's like we thought Jakob might come back. Unfortunately, he didn't. He's very, very close, though. And then Colin, he stubbed his thumb. This was inevitable to happen. That, Colin's thumb, I don't know exactly how bad Colin's thumb is. I think tongue in cheek, I think he's just as hurt as he's been. But in some ways, the Raptors were like, let's give a clear runway for TJD to come out there and get a nice, really good run. And Colin's like, you know what? I need a break anyway. So let me get my thumb checked out for the rest of the game. And we'll give a nice, good playing time for the new acquisition. And I think that was kind of calculated in some ways. As soon as I saw Colin go to the back, oh, he's not coming back. I knew that. And even if it was something piddly, even if it was just like he probably isn't that hurt, guys. Honestly, I think it was just one of those excuses to make room so that Trace could play more. So I would be shocked if Colin Murray-Boyles is absolutely like hurt badly or anything like that. I don't think that's what it is. I think yesterday there's an opportunity to, you get Colin in there. He gets the start. He gets the stats that he's played in the game. And well, he's not totally 100%. His thumb has kind of been bugging him. Well, let's try out the new guy. And you can sit for the rest of the day. I feel like that's the energy around what happened with Murray-Boyles yesterday. Yeah, James is saying this Pistons game will be a good test for TJD. They got Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, yeah. I like having more big guys that rebound to go into the fight with the team like the Pistons on Wednesday. That's right. Yeah, it'll be the last game before the All-Star break. And it should be very, very fun to see us finally play the Detroit Pistons. We finally played the Motor City Cruise yesterday, the Pistons G League team, and we kicked their butt. Yeah, we did. We did kick their butt. That's going to be a fun game, James, isn't it? It's going to be a lot of fun to see the Raptors and where we're at right now after coming off this Pacers game go up against the Eastern Conference leading Detroit Pistons. That's right. That's right. Wednesday's game's a big one, man. James is saying TJD always looking to dunk the ball or he's getting fouled. Yeah, and they talked about this after the game that there's a lot of people who like to throw lobs on our team, and Trace is all about it. Trace is all about it. We know our guys like to throw passes all over the place. Well, lob threat, hello. This is funny because there was somebody came to me in the chat, I forget who, and they said, we need a lob threat on our team. And I was like, we don't need a lob threat. That's not anything that you need to have on your team. That's just a luxury. That's just something that's nice to have. Although it can be a real weapon. It can be a real headache for opposing coaches to have to scheme to defend against a guy who is a lob threat. Well, Bobby did it. That was one of the checks on the grocery list when he went shopping and got Trace Jackson Davis. Was lob threat was one of the things that he marked off. And that was an optional one. That was one that I was like, oh, well, it's not totally important to have a lob threat. But look, he went and got a lob threat, guys. I think a lot of people, after seeing the double-double by TJD yesterday, are like, okay, Bobby's good. Once again, we get the nephews around social media crying and whining for months and all kinds of crazy shit about wanting big man this. Why doesn't Bobby do this? Bobby should go get Anthony Davis. All this stupid shit. And then Bobby finally gets Trace, and everybody's underwhelmed. And they're like, oh, this is it? This is all we did? Fire our GM. Our front office sucks. And then they see the guy play, and then they're like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What is this pattern with you, Raptors Nation? Why can't you just trust Bobby Webster like you trusted Masai Ujiri before? Just trust this man. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it with the best resources of what we got available to get this. I mean, it's absolutely amazing the caliber of player and fit and skills that he just got and the age he's at and the price he's at. This is like masterful GM work, nephews. So wake up and listen to your unk, because I'll teach you right now. I'll teach you right now. Seriously, Bobby Webster's a good GM. And you can see it in the double-double that got laid down yesterday by TJD. So respect the head of basketball operations, Bobby Webster, Raptors fans. And be grateful. Let's get back to the words of wisdom. Have gratitude that Bobby's in charge and not some jabroni like the one in Milwaukee, not like the one in Memphis, not like the one in Golden State or in Sacramento and all these other teams that ran all crazy and stupid. Just be glad we got one of the best in the business. And he is running our team. That's right. Underrated pickup by Bobby. That's right, James. That's right. James was talking about it in the Discord last night. He's like, this guy's good. I like this Trace guy. And he's like, this is good. This has been, wow, Bobby did great. That's what I'm saying, y'all. I want y'all to cut out the noise that's unnecessary in between what we're doing. And just like, you know what? If he had showed up and he was a dud and he was horrible and he was like, man, this isn't working. Why'd he do this? I would be like, let's criticize Bobby. But you guys are criticizing Bobby. First of all, some of y'all criticizing Bobby for him not making moves that you think he should have made, which may not have been realistic in any kind of way. You're criticizing Bobby for not making a big splash or a big, huge contract move. That's irresponsible, guys. In some ways, that's not a good GM who's doing big flashy moves just for the sake of making big flashy moves. No, he needs to be calculated, and the moves need to be at the right level for what it needs to be to keep everything in balance. So I'm sick of nephews and online prognosticators and critics and people that are always talking out their ass about the GM work of our team. You guys do not know this job better than Bobby, and Bobby has shown you once again as far as making Trace Jackson Davis happen. And I'm just sick of it. Y'all hold your opinions and shut the fuck up, nephews, is what I'm saying right now. Seriously, hold your opinions. We don't need to hear what you have to say about Bobby Webster because you don't even live on the moon like he does. And you have no idea what his job entails. I'm just saying that. Yeah. That's how it is right there. That's how it is right there. Y'all, the phone lines are open. If you do want to call me today and opine on the victories of the Raptors organization yesterday, I will put you on the air and we can talk about it. If not, if you're a subscriber to the channel, please put your comments in and we'll go over the game. You can say what you want to say about what you saw in the Raptor game yesterday. That's right. Let me get into the stars of the game real quick. I'll go ahead and do the stars of the game for the Raptors game last night first. Scotty Barnes is my number one star of the game. And man, his stat line is nasty. 33 minutes, 25 points on 12 of 20 shooting. That's fantastic. Man, 12 of 20. He was definitely more aggressive. This is the most aggressive we've seen Scotty maybe ever, honestly, because sometimes he'll be aggressive just for like a play or two, but this was sustained aggression that really worked really well for the whole third quarter. Really, really amazing quarter. Amazing quarter. Like they said on the broadcast, the stats that Scotty had in the third quarter are sometimes a good game for just one guy, like for the whole game. You know what I'm saying? 1 for 1 at the free throw line, 14 rebounds for Scotty. A 25 and 14 game with 6 assists. That's badass. Only 1 turnover, too. That's fantastic right there. 2 steals and 4 blocks. 4 blocks. The man had 6 stocks with 4 blocks, and he was a plus 22. Of course, we saw Scotty camming it up for the camera yesterday, which was fun. You know, that was so, like, they're calling him Jim Halpern. It's so funny, man, is he broke the fourth wall, and he's like, it's so good. Pat Frere, why aren't you called a foul, man? What's up with you guys, you and Carl Lane? You guys are good guys, man. It's just that the NBA is trying to be like, you know, we're transitioning to becoming more like FIBA, Raptors freak. And part of that is we don't want to call too many fouls and physicality around the basket because that's part of the difference between international play and the NBA. NBA got too soft. You know, we were allowing way more contact. So it's like, you better really get fouled if you're going to get fouled. And they aren't calling a lot of stuff. And it's very frustrating for Darko and Scotty. They are complaining and they're getting very upset all through the game. But what a creative way to complain by Scott, by turning to the camera. It's like camera pan here. I guess all the work with Jack Armstrong on the Google commercials has got Scotty savvy to being shot on camera and knowing where the camera is. And that was hilarious. He's like, he gets hit, he falls down, and he turns the camera. He looks like exasperated, like this, and then he gets up, and Emmanuel does this amazing steal, which is just crazy, and then he throws the ball like blindly down the court towards Scott, and Scott magically gets the ball back in his hands, and he turns back around, and he dunks the ball, and he looks straight at the camera and points to the camera. Man, those are great Raptor moments right there. That's just good stuff, man. Like that really is like, is there going to be a trend now where more players are going to be hamming it up straight to the camera? I don't know. Scott's done this a couple times this year on the down low, whether it's coming up and posing right in the camera, glowering over it after he dunks on Giannis Antetokounmpo, you know, shit like that. You know, it's cool. It's cool. And the rest of the NBA woke up to it, honestly. The other fans around the league are seeing the highlights of Scott yesterday, and they're also seeing the camera hamming it up, and they're like, we like this guy. This guy's fun. I wish that more NBA stars were like Scotty because he's fun. This is what the shit common NBA fan is saying around the league right now. That like, oh, this guy's legit. They actually really respect and like Scotty's game. And then they're also like, his personality's goofy, but he's kind of fun also. So I love that. I love that for Scott. He's definitely my number one star of the game for last night. My second star is off the bench, and it's been consistently a second star for me recently, and that's Sandro Mamukelashvili. My God, man. Look, this man could have been threatened. They just traded for someone on my position. What's going on? Well, distinguish yourself and make yourself, you just focus on yourself. You'll be fine, Sandro Mama. Because honestly, you got something that Trace ain't going to have, and that's that three. That three is so important and deadly right now. 22 minutes for Sandro, 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from three, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds and assists, no turnovers, a steal, a +2. Sandro, man, you're awesome. And in some ways, you guys are different flavors. We're starting to get a little bit of a big man contingency with Scotty, Sandro, Colin, Trace, Jakob, and Jonathan. And all these guys have different flavors to them as far as what they're going to be. Like, there's very much similarities with Trace, Jackson Davis, with Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes. They're long arm guys that are very high IQ, that can do athletic things that are extraordinary. But they're also different flavors. Like, Scotty's not the same as Colin. Colin's not the same as Trace, and Trace is not the same as Scotty. But there are common threads that run through these three guys that are awesome. And in some ways, it's a part of the philosophy of the team. It's going to make it even more powerful. The thing I really like about Trace is he's got some shot blocking too. But Sandro has the threes, and that is so crucial for the Toronto Raptors right now. So, Sandro, you're fine, because I'm not worried about you losing minutes, because you are crucial, because you've been our best player off the bench, and you shoot a lot of good threes, my guy. And the confidence with him and his threes is better than anybody else on the team right now, honestly. Honestly, the way I see it. My third star of the game is the always underrated and overlooked, an amazing person that got so much crap earlier this year, and it's Immanuel Quickley. Emmanuel has been so steady, an underlying person on our team that nobody's really kind of paying attention to just how good he's been in like the last month, man. His shooting has gone up really well in the last month. His shooting percentage is right by 50%, which for his position and his volume, he could easily shoot like 35 to 40%. But this man's getting his shot percentage up to 45 to 50%. And he's just being very efficient. We did see a careless shot at one point, like an old school chaotic Immanuel Quickley heat check shot that Alvin was like, maybe you don't want to shoot that there. But in some ways, he was feeling good, and he had to check how good he was feeling. That early in the shot clock, close to the half court kind of shot. And I don't fault him for that, because this is the thing. Like Alvin said, there's something called spurtability. I know it's kind of gross sounding, right? Spurtability. But spurtability is something that Emmanuel's got, and something that he has to test to see if he can spurt. I know, phrasing, I know. But like, that's what that is. When he comes down the court and he jacks up a half court shot really fast with no defender around him, he's checking to see how hot he is, because he could have spurtability. He could have the ability to throw in 7 points all of a sudden in like 30 seconds on the court. And that's something in some ways is a weapon that Emmanuel's got that we need to encourage and hone and get him to master it more and more. Because in games that are important, if Immanuel Quickley can reel off 7 to 10 points in like a couple minutes in a game, that could be very, very, very useful and valuable as a weapon. So we got to remember this. When Immanuel kind of goes chaotic, that's him testing his spurtability. And if he makes that shot, that crazy shot that most people in basketball fundamentalists would be saying, oh man, that's a horrible shot. You're not supposed to do that. It's spurtability. And if he makes that shot, it's like, wow, let's stack some points on the board real quick from IQ, because he can do that fast and quickly. That's right. Quickly with the quickly. That's right. 28 minutes for Immanuel, 13 points. Not the best point output, but that's what we needed. We just needed him to get some points and score at some times. There was a period of time where a lot of the Raptors scored right in a row. We had Brandon hit a shot. Scotty went inside and went dominant. RJ hit a three, and then Immanuel hits a shot. I love seeing those four main guys all take turns kind of scoring, and all four of them being successful on each of the turns. It's almost like at the beginning of the game, work the ball around, get it to Brandon, and let him finish the shot on the first possession. Boom, he hits it. We get off to a good start. Come down the court the next turn, so let Scotty get in there and mix it up and get an easy mid-range shot. Then let RJ get an open three. Then let Immanuel dribble into the lane and shoot a little short jumper and make it. And if all four of those guys hit all four of those shots, well, we got all four of our guys going, and we're ready to rock. and we're hitting on all cylinders. So I love that part of that, man. 5 for 9 for Emmanuel, 3 of 6 from three. So that's the thing. He didn't shoot a whole lot, but he was 50% from three. 4 rebounds, 6 assists with 0 turnovers and a steal, a plus 29 for Emmanuel Quickly, which is absolutely a badass plus. And like I said, he's not scoring a whole lot there, but he is very efficient and he's doing a lot to help in the places he needs to. That's right. My next star of the game, number 4 star, is RJ. RJ had a fantastic game also. He was the highest plus minus of all the Raptors last night with plus 31. 32 minutes, 20 points for RJ, 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from three, 4 of 7 from the free throw line. Yeah, his free throws are still a little ugly. The first one is a little ugly, but you know what? It's RJ, man. 8 of rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, and a steal. RJ's going to look bad at times. And in some ways, that's the thing that people don't have any patience for. And they need to shut the fuck up, man. The intangibles of what RJ gives us, besides some of the stuff that may look ugly, is first of all, he's daring. He dares to be that guy to try and go do stuff. And he's not always successful. And he may look bad at times. But also, on the flip side of the coin, you see RJ fighting physically underneath the basket, using his body weight and using his skill as a scorer to carve out points for us in a very physical way. He's putting his body on the line. The referees do not call jack shit for him. And he's using his strength in the lane to force shots to go into the basket. And he's just playing all out. In some ways, he's the thankless Raptor. He's not an all-star. He's not on the slam cover. He's not this. He's not that. He can get forgotten. But does he care? No, because he is a team player. He plays for his city. And he is doing whatever it takes to help us with no ego involved, guys. And we need to understand that. He's an unsung hero. And even if he has some mistakes, even if he has some things that look ugly, like his free throws, he is in there to win it and for all the right reasons. And he's the kind of player you need on your team. A guy that can do things to fill in the gaps for the superstars and other people on the team. And as a superstar himself, he can do things to help us win. He's a winner too. And his drive and his desire to make the Raptors win is sacrificing his own game to an extent, and also going all out with his game physically and taking the bumps to help us win the game. Alvin Williams was spitting facts last night when he said if RJ had not gotten hurt this year, the Raptors would have had 3 strong all-star candidates. He's exactly right. And you know that's true because when we started the season, we had that 9-game winning streak. RJ Barrett was in the center of the success of all that. And we know this is true. So let's not forget this, Raptors fans, and listen to Lindsey Dunn when she tells you, stop talking about trading RJ. Seriously. RJ is the heart and soul. And in some ways, he's a no-ego guy. That, man, in some ways, if he was on other teams, maybe there would be other issues. But no, not on Toronto, guys. And he understands the assignment, and he just wants to win. He wants to win. He wants to get a Larry O'Brien. He wants to get a championship ring with the Toronto Raptors. So I say right now, nobody get in the way of Rowan Barrett Jr. going for his childhood dream of getting an NBA championship in Toronto Raptors jersey and getting that Larry O'Brien held above his head, standing on the court with Ed Rogers III. So let RJ get his dream. Ed Rogers and Bobby Webster and Raptors fans. Let him get his dream as a Toronto kid. Seriously, y'all. Seriously. My 5th star is Jacoby Walter, the chain getter. 27 minutes, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Actually, he only had 2 steals. I was wrong. I thought he had 6 steals. He only had 2 steals. 6 points, 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, a plus 13. There was somebody on the 905 who got 6 steals. That's where I got confused. So, yeah, Jacoby, he just was a crucial guy. It was more symbolic giving him the chain yesterday. He hit some key threes when he was wide open. That's really good to be able to count on a guy when he gets that shot in the corner and he's open, that he's going to nail the 3. But it's really the defensive intensity that he set and just dogging them. Like they were really aggressive on the cross-court stuff. I feel like that was the memo out for the whole entire Raptors organization. Because on the 905 game, AJ Hogarth was doing the same thing as Jacoby. They were really trying to stop the ball handlers for the other teams from crossing over the court before the 8-second clock or the 6-second clock, whatever second is. You know that violation if you don't get across half court in time? Well, that's part of what these guys are doing. They're trying to trap them and hold them up and give them a violation, a half court violation. And Jacoby was Jacoby was dogging them. That's right. That's right. He was. I'm gonna go 2 more stars, guys. We're gonna go 7 stars today. Trace is my 6 star. Trace Jackson Davis debut for the Raptors, double double. He's like the 5th player to ever do this in Raptors history in their debut to get a double double. I think Kawhi was the last one who did this, guys. Kawhi Leonard was the last Raptor to make his Raptor debut with a double double. Trace, 16 minutes, 10 points, 2 of 4 shooting, 6 of 10 at the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, 1 steal, and 1 block, a -3. He got to the line a lot, which is interesting. And that's really a lot of that's battling for rebounds and getting good position and getting fouled by the Pacers. But the other thing about it is he's not a good free throw shooter. And you could tell his free throw is a little crazy, right? It's a little crazy. But he was showing initiative to try really hard to make them. And a 6 of 10 is better than his 50% for his career. But we do have to worry about a hackers trace strategy because, you know, that we saw it in the game last night. As soon as he got the ball near the basket, Jay Huff collapsed on him and fouled him intentionally because the scout on TJD is if he gets the ball near the basket, foul him because he's more likely to make the shot and get the 2. And if he's at the line, he's going to miss one and only get 1. So that's something that we're going to have to watch for with TJD is his free throw shooting is going to be that's maybe one of his biggest weaknesses. Although Darko says the Raptors have no weaknesses. But a great debut regardless. And I think the Raptors fans can see how TJD is going to be helpful and useful for the Raptors. I think you can see that. My last star of the game, I want to give shine to this guy because his energy has been different the last 2 games, and he's working harder than ever, and I'm appreciating it, is Grady Dick. Grady Dick in 16 minutes got 8 points on 3 of 6 shooting. He did miss his only 3-point shot, but he's doing other things that just matter. 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 3 steals for Grady, and a -3. Yeah, Grady, keep going, man. Keep your confidence up. Keep doing what you got to do. The NBA is tough. The NBA is a business. The NBA is never easy, but you gotta fight to survive, and you will thrive. And in some ways, you reminded me a couple of the skills that you got as an offensive player besides being a 3-point shooter, because it's tough. Like sometimes you're such a good 3-point shooter, or you were, that I pigeonhole you to be that's just who you are. And I forget just how much you can do on cutting and offensive side. And also, you know, you actually do have some turnaround shots and some stuff that you can do if you get the ball in your hands and you're off your leash for your role on the court. It's just Brandon's been taking a lot of that kind of offensive energy and motion on our offense, and rightfully so, because he's at the level he's at. And you're not getting those kind of opportunities, the ones that Brandon's getting. That's really a big part of it, guys, with Grady. Is last year, a lot of that offense that's kind of work around and do that kind of stuff that Ingram's getting to do, Dick got to do last year because he was the starter and kind of in that position. But we see that he's still a very talented offensive player besides the 3-point shot. Besides the 3-point shot. Honorable mention to Brandon Ingram. You know, it's just the output's just not the normal output for him to get a star. 26 minutes, 13 points on 5 of 12. He missed all 3 of his threes. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, two turnovers, and a block, a +15. It wasn't really a Brandon game, but he had his moments, and he did do his stuff, and he's a superstar. He's a high-level offensive player, but in some ways, he didn't have to do much heavy lifting. I like the respect I saw between him and Siakam on the court. It was interesting. After the game, they dapped each other, and you could tell – you know, there's a respect there because those guys are similar. They're very similar kind of players. They're just really amazing offensive players in the NBA that are extremely hard to stop. So I like seeing that. And maybe even Brandon was dapping Siakam, no hard feelings, you're an all-star and I'm not. I don't know. Also, the love between Siakam and Scotty. Oh, my gosh. The way those guys palled around after the game and hugging each other. Yeah, there's no doubting that anybody who thought Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam aren't cool with each other, you're crazy. They are absolutely cool with each other. And they were reveling in the fact that they're both all-stars this year. and they'll be seeing each other at All-Star Weekend. The reporter in the back, Chelsea, well, you're an idiot. They're not playing on the same All-Star team. Going over the rest of them, Colin was out there for 8 minutes, 2 points and one-on-one shooting. He managed a turnover and a block before he jammed his thumb and went to the back. He was a +5. Jamison Battle, 7 minutes. He went 0 for 4. He was the dud on the three-point shooting. I'm like, Jamison, you're a three-point shot. You're a sure shot. You're 0 for 3 from 3. And those were open shots, Jamison Battle. So you and Grady need to get your threes back. I know I've been saying this for a little while now, but 2 rebounds for him at least. Mobo came out for the end of the game just for a second. AJ Lawson, 2 minutes and with just a rebound. Jamal Shed, disappointing. And once again, he's kind of slumping right now. You know, the defense is solid and the leadership and the communication solid, but the offensive stuff is not totally there. And he is having some bad turnovers still. 19 minutes, 6 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. That 3 was deep and was very confident. I did like that 3. 3 for 4 at the free throw line, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, a -12 for Jamal Shed. So, yeah, that's the whole box score for the Raptors. We'll go over and look at Siakam real quick. 18 points for him on 7 of 15. Of course, Scotty's going to guard him up pretty good. And that's the fun that he gets is I get to do my thing and try and score on Siakam, and Siakam has to try and score on me. And I know Scotty gets up for that matchup because it's personal and it's fun. And in some ways, it's comfortable because, you know, he knows Siakam and he knows there will be no hard feelings, but also Scotty can kind of like, you know, play really hard and compete with him. And, you know, maybe there's a little bit more shit talking when he's playing Siakam because he feels more comfortable with him. But yeah, 4 rebounds for Pascal, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and -14. Andrew didn't have the best game, 4 of 18 for Nebhard with only 10 points and 4 turnovers. He was a -29. Yeah, that was tough for him. Very, very tough for him. No other notables for the Pacers. None of them scored over 20 points. Siakam had the most points. We'll go to the box score real quick. Let's just go do all of this right now. The team stats, the Raptors did shoot way better. They did shoot better than the Pacers, 47% to 45. They made one more 3 than us, 12 to 11, but we shot a little bit better from the 3-point range. They did get half the foul shots as us. So in some ways, Pat Frere, Carl Lane, and JD Rawls were actually helping the Raptors with the home court because we did get a lot of calls. Maybe it was the aggression of us going towards the basket with Scotty and Trace and people like that that got us to the line more often, but we had double the free throws as the Indiana Pacers. And maybe Pacers fans are crying and whining about that today. But yeah, out rebounded them +14, 54 to 40. Is that the TJD effect? Maybe. Assist to turnover ratio, pretty good, 29 to 13. That's a solid over 2 to 1. And the other side, 26 to 19. 12 steals for the Raptors yesterday with 8 blocks. Wow. Wow, that's good time stuff. And we did get 34 fast break points. So above average on the fast break points. Really, really good there. And then 64 points in the paint to 46 for the other side. So, yeah, really good dominant stats on some of that stuff for the Raptors in the win over Indiana. Yeah, fantastic team effort and different stuff in different ways going on. I am excited about Detroit on Wednesday. And I do think that it will be really, really cool to see our new player and hopefully Colin be out there battling with beef stew, like James is saying. I think this is exactly right. Exactly right. All right, let's see. Smooth saying this. The Pacers are a hard team to gauge against, though, only because it's in their best interest to lose. If this kind of effort can be duplicated against Detroit, then that's the bench, in my opinion. Benchmark. Yeah, I hate this shit. Why do people keep bringing this shit up over and over again? Like, it's like, you know, they're trying to lose. I get it. The whole thing with Utah is a black mark. I went and investigated it more. And, you know, Will Hardy and the Utah Jazz should get in trouble for what they did the other night. The NBA should change the rules again so that you can't bench like your whole entire starting team at the end of the game. And, you know, the Raptors have been guilty of doing this in past years too. But I'm sick of this shit. I think that if the problem is that teams are going to try and lose on purpose for the draft, they need to penalize them. They need to change the system so that there isn't any reward for losing. They need to make this league back to the point where everybody's trying to win all out all the time. And that any of this kind of shit like this needs to be punished. And there needs to be, the structure could be, you get the top draft pick if you have the best record out of the bottom 10. That's one of the solutions that's been come up is like you want to get the number one pick. Well, if you're in the lottery, you have to have the best record out of the lottery teams. So you can't play it totally shitty and just try and bottom out in the league. You have to try and be the best of the shitty teams. So then these teams will all try all the way through the rest of the season, because what Utah did the other night is absolutely reprehensible. And that is, if that is the new, there's an article on ESPN this morning saying that teams have found out a new way to get around the tanking rules and do it still. Well, fuck that shit. And I'm sick of this loser mentality. The Pacers are trying hard team to gauge against because listen, fuck that, Reggie. Don't sully our fucking win yesterday. We beat a team. It's an NBA team. And you're going to say hard to gauge? Well, they're not involved in the playoff picture anyway this year. And yeah, they are hard to gauge because Halliburton's out and Zubac hasn't even showed up. What are you fucking wanting to gauge them about? I would say it doesn't matter how they gauge. The Raptors won. But tell me that Rick Carlisle was not trying to win? No, he was playing those guys, and they're playing their ass off, and they're trying to play. They're just not good enough to beat us. So I'm sick of this shit. Stop coming from that perspective that teams are trying to lose on purpose, because they're going to find them, and they're going to punish them, and they're going to change this. Maybe some of the old systems in this world are crumbling because they don't work no more. And maybe part of that is indicative in the NBA, that old systems in the NBA need to be dismantled and new systems need to be built. And I would say that, Adam Silver, if you really want to stop the tanking or the download tanking, you got to change the rules. You got to change the incentives for what the draft is, so that these motherfuckers aren't trying to draft for tank for Wemby and bullshit like that. So, I mean, Adam Silver, the ball's in your court. They're showing the innovation of how they're going to get around your rules, make the rules changed again, and fix that little part there too. I think that the ultimate thing is they do need to make it so you need to try and win to get the top pick in the draft. How do you do that, Adam Silver? Well, you take the bottom 12 teams and you say, who's got the best record out of the bottom 12? You get the number one pick. So teams are going to try and get there or land in that spot. I don't know. Maybe you have the top 3 bottom teams and then you do the lottery off of them. Yeah, so they can't manipulate it to get it steered right to the top pick in the draft. And if you're in the bottom of the league, well, you get pick number 12, motherfucker. How about that? How about that? You get automatically number 12. So you do not want to be at the bottom of the league. That's right. You're going to get number 12 no matter what. If you are at the bottom of the league, you better not be tanking to get number 1 and trying to bottom out and be, oh, we're the worst team in the league. We're getting the number 1 pick. You get number 12. Because that's what you get. That's the solution right there, Adam Silver. Hello. You can have that for free from the Raptors Freak, because I don't give a shit about money. Yeah. Yeah. G saying this. I love that guy to death. He's my favorite player, Scotty. Yeah, he's awesome, man. Let's go, Scott. Let's go, Mr. Barnes. Let's go. Number 4. Looking like Antetokounmpo on the court last night. Wheeling and dealing, spinning through the lane with strength and throwing it down on their heads. Yeah, Trace was like this. He's like, oh, I'm playing with Scotty. I get to do this all the time now. G saying TJD with a double-double in his debut. A really simple one. A really, it seemed like it was effortless. It seemed like it's just natural in the flow. It's not like we had plays for him. He just went out there and went to work. And we saw what he does. He's a very athletic guy. In some ways, I think that, Bobby not getting a true 7-footer, some people are upset about this. I don't think that this is smart, because in some ways, Jakob is useful. Jakob is absolutely essential to our team. And in some ways, he fits that when we have him. I think this league really is the kind of thing where small ball centers are more important and useful at this point. And a lot of it has to do with switchability. You can't have Yak or certain big switching in a certain kind of defense, and it's going to be like mismatch galore. So in some ways, you want guys that are kind of tethered to the middle positions and being able to laterally move side to side, so that if they get switched to a guard, that they're able to do somewhat of an adequate job to kind of contain them. And that's part of it right there. That's a big part of it, Raptors fans. on why I don't think you go get a true 7-footer, because how many 7-footers have that lateral quickness to jump from side to side? That's a big part of why Colin Murray-Boyles is so amazing right now, is that he is so quick to move side to side. And with that size and strength, it's so valuable. So valuable. In some ways, TJD has that lateral kind of movement back and forth better than a big lumbering 7-footer would too. So, I know we want it. We got a center, guys. That's the thing. We got a center. He may not be a true 7-footer, but in some ways, does he look like he's a 7-footer? He looks like he's big enough. He looks like he's strong enough. That's what matters, right? Is the number really what matters? Also, we got to remember the NBA shorts guys a couple of their inches sometimes, like Scotty. Scotty's 6'9", but they still list him at 6'7". So yeah, it's all messed up. Seymour, you gonna call me this morning? Convincing win hashtag. All right, Seymour Pape, the Seymour Pape 4 quarters. When we win it all, don't give CP3 nada. This is funny. All right, we're Toronto Raptors NBA champions 2026. Toronto Raptors NBA champions 2026. Toronto Raptors NBA champions 2026. Speaking in existence. 3 times, say it 3 times, and wow, maybe it happens. And no, Chris Paul, you do not get a ring. And we'll let Scott Foster call you to tell you that. Yeah. Some people are asking, why have we not waived Chris yet? Why have we not waived Chris? They're confused because they see Chris Paul on our injury list, like at the arena. They post him up there with Jakob Poeltl. It says Raptors injury inactive. Jakob Poeltl, Chucky Hepburn, Chris Paul. People like, what? Chris Paul on the injury list? What is this? What is this? Bobby has timing for this. Like there is a strategy, or there's some sort of incentive for him to wait until March to waive Chris Paul. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It has something to do with the 2 ways and the contracts. So we may have Chris Paul as a Raptor unofficially or officially for a month, and that he may be showing up on our injury list. So be fine with that, people. And no, he won't get a ring if we win. I don't think he will. Neil's saying, you want to talk up in here? You better subscribe. We about that life, keyboard warriors, but you got to be a part of the club or just listen. I mean, yeah, if you want to talk in the stream, you have to subscribe to be able to have a comment in here. That's the least I'm asking. I mean, come on, just subscribe. And even if you unsubscribe after you do it, I mean, some people will do that. That's fine. But yeah, and then sometimes if I'm on a time crunch, I will do members only streams where only members of the channel, paying members, subscription members can talk in the chat, and then we did that the other day because it was a time crunch. And the chat's limited to just members commenting. That can be helping me get a quicker stream because of that. But I like to have it more wide open. And there used to be chats where I would have it wide open. You didn't even have to subscribe, and you could come in here and talk in here. And those were the Wild West. They were crazy, man. There's all kinds of crazy people coming in here talking crazy shit. All right, let's see. Fiercey saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy Monday. Thank you for the positive vibes, Fiercey J. Fiercey Jr. and her team won the tournament. Yeah, we saw that yesterday. I saw that on MJ's Facebook. There was a post that they got their banner. They got their another banner, and that Fiercey Jr. won her finals tournament for her basketball tournament this weekend, and that's fantastic. This is so awesome. This has been a couple weeks of girls in sports, girls and women's in sports celebration. Toronto Tempo and other basketball teams celebrating this, the Raptors too. And, this is the epitome of it. MJ's daughter is a young lady who's wanting to play more and more basketball, and she's seen a path more and more for women in sports. And, the Tempo starting up is a big deal. And I love hearing about the success of Fiercey Jr. this weekend. It's so awesome. And keep going, Fiercey Jr. Keep going. And congratulations. Sometimes it's not always about winning. It's about how you play and whether you had fun. But I'm glad you won. I'm glad you won. All W's yesterday for the Raptors and Fiercey. That's right. All W's. All W's. That's right. That's right. Neil's saying this. Congratulations to Fiercey. I love that. And there's the squirt gun. I like that. Seymour's got love for eye candy. Congrats to Fiercey Jr. from Good Game. That's right. And Blackhawks saying, oh, well, Julian can get 20 and 20 on the next game. Yeah. You guys want me to do that now? Let me go look at the stars of the game for the 9:05 game yesterday, which was broken open in the third quarter, much like the Raptors game. They were losing to Motor City Cruise, and it's kind of at halftime. And I was really worried about the 9:05 because not only was Elijah and AJ and Jonathan at Scotiabank Arena to help the Raptors, Tyreek Key was out all of a sudden. Tyreek Key got hurt at the end of the game that Saturday that Adrienne and I went to. I didn't think he was that hurt, but Superfan Monique was like, you didn't see him get hurt in the game? Well, I was at the game. I didn't see the broadcast, and I didn't hear Randy talk about it. I saw Tyreek kind of twist his ankle and just kind of walk off the court, but I didn't realize it was that bad that he would miss the game. And also Quincy Guerrier was not available either. So the 9:05 only had 8 guys to play. And it's really basically everybody who's able to play, you're playing today. And you're going to get minutes because it's like that for us. Julian Reese, my number one star of the game. He got the chain. In some ways, because everybody was missing, Julian had to play. And, the kind of thing that's happening with Reese most of the season is he's young, he's green, he fouls too easy, and he gets in foul trouble. So his stints for Andrew Jones on the 9:05, some of them have been shortened by foul trouble. He'll get 2 quick fouls, and he'll sit down. And there's a lot of games this season where Julian only plays 10 to 15 minutes in the game because of foul trouble. Well, he got to play 30 minutes yesterday, and we got an extended look at him out on the court and him playing very dominant. He was going to get them boards like he wanted them real bad. 29 minutes off the bench, 20 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from free throws. He's a great free throw shooter for his size. It's a weird delivery, but it works. 17 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and +2. This kid is going to dominate. This kid has got smarts. And some of the stuff I liked about his offense was he had patience. He was using footwork. He was avoiding the defenders in smart ways to get the shot, to execute it, to make sure it went in. A lot of the stuff that big men have to learn that takes them a long time to develop. You know how they say big men take longer to develop? Julian's got it. He's 20 years old. He's the son. He's the younger brother of Angel Reese, and he's got talent out the wazoo. So once again, I'll say this: Bobby Webster, Luke Wynn, Darko, Andrew Jones. You guys have to put a pin in him. There is going to be somebody coming to try and get him at some point. So Bobby, don't let that happen. Lock up Julian Reese. I want to see him get a 2-way. I want to see you convert AJ Lawson and give him a full roster spot on the Raptors and put that 2-way on Julian Reese. If Shamshay's not coming back, that's what I want. That's what I want. Julian Reese, in some ways, can take that spot that Ulrich Shamshay was supposed to have, because in some ways, he's a blue chipper like him. Just trust me on this. I don't normally say this kind of glowing stuff about G League players. I don't normally just go, oh, every year, this is a guy that we need to keep for sure, and this guy's got a future. I don't say this shit facetiously. This shit is real. Juju Reese is a real NBA player, and we want to keep him. Bobby, don't sleep on this. Do not let somebody come get him. In other news, Delano Banton got called up from the G League. He's the 10th call-up from the G League this year. He's going to be on the Clippers for a 10-day contract. So congratulations to Rexdale's finest, 45 bus, Delano Banton, who's joining Kawhi in the Clippers for 10 days. So, yeah, we could give him a little bit of shout out on that. My second star for the 9:05 game yesterday is Tyson Degenhart. And, man, the Boise State all-time leading scorer finally woke up. He's been slumping in the middle of the season. You know, at the beginning of the year, Tyson came out bombing like Jamison Battle, the way he played from Summer League into last year. Yeah, we remember Battle from last year. Oh, yeah. Well, Degenhart couldn't miss threes at the beginning of the year. In the middle of the season, he's been missing threes. He's been off. And, the thing that's been frustrating me about Tyson is in the last month, the Raptors 905 had people missing. They were losing. They had a 4-game losing streak, and they were crying out for a hero, Tina Turner. They needed another hero. And Tyson had the repertoire, he has the skills, has the pedigree, has the history from Boise State, and he wasn't doing it. I'm like, wake up. It's like that guy with the stick poking Tyson Degenhart. Come on, man, do something, Degenhart. Do something. Well, he did finally yesterday. He finally woke up, and went and got 24 points on 9 of 13 shooting in 36 minutes. 1 of 4 from 3, 4 of 5 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, and 2 steals, a plus 20 for Tyson Degenhart. That's what I want to see, Tyson. If AJ Lawson ain't there, if Elijah Martin ain't there, go ahead and get those points. And Tyreek's hurt. Okay, we need somebody to score. You're the all-time leading scorer for Boise State. Go show them how you did that. Seriously. So good job, Tyson Degenhart. Above and beyond. He was hard repping Seattle Seahawks yesterday. And Lindsey Dunn had this crazy fluorescent greens dress on yesterday. She was hard repping Seattle Seahawks yesterday. And, well, who won the Super Bowl, y'all? It looks like Seattle won the Super Bowl, didn't they? I didn't watch it. I don't know. But they won. It says it on ESPN this morning. They won. That's right. Third star of the game in the 9:05 game is our Raptors 2019 NBA champion, Patrick McCaw. That's right. Pat McCaw, the third star. How did that happen? Well, it's just like that. The man had to start because of all the absences. And Patrick played 42 minutes yesterday, y'all. Pat McCaw played the whole game except for 6 minutes of it. And, you know, he didn't try to score hardly, but he did score. He got 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. He's the one who got the 6 steals. I got him and Jacoby mixed up. Patrick McCaw, 6 steals in the 9:05 game yesterday and a block and a +6. Yeah, Pat McCaw, man, it's like Andrew Jones said. It's like, look, there's a lot of experience in our champion, in our vet, in our guy. In some ways, he's a defensive specialist. He's out there playing high-level defense. It's part of the reason why Nick Nurse loved Patrick McCaw so much for those years is he's just a defensive genius on the down low, guys, honestly. And he was a big factor to help us win against Motor City Cruise yesterday. And it's kind of fun to see a guy from our championship team still around our organization and run around like that. Pat McCaw's awesome. You know, they asked Andrew Jones after the game, do you think Patrick McCaw would ever become a coach? Because in some ways, he's a vet on this team, and he is teaching the young guys. And Andrew kind of laughed. He's kind of like, I don't know. The thing is that I don't know if Pat McCaw's personality is like that kind of leadership. It's like he's a very easygoing, kind of laid back dude. So in some ways, I don't know. I don't think maybe Pat McCaw could be on a coaching staff as an assistant, but I don't see him being the kind of guy that could be a head coach. But maybe he could be like a assistant coach, somebody that helps on the side with, you know, defensive coach, maybe something like that. My next star of the game for the 9:05 is Olivier Sarr. Olivier Sarr continues to get better and better as the season goes on with impressing me. 18 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, 2 blocks, a +6. It's kind of weird that he only got 1 rebound, but he shot pretty good. It's not a super impressive game. This game was tough to find stars because once again, they only had 8 guys playing. So in some ways, it was tough to find stars. My last star of the game, my 5th star of the game is Jarkel Joyner. He got the start once again with the 2 ways up, and he got 31 minutes, 11 points on 4 of 15 shooting. Not the best shooting, 0 of 6 from 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, a +20 though. Him and Tyson had the best plus-minus, both +20. Jarkel, he keeps the other team honest. He's a scoring threat, and he gets baskets at times when the Raptors 9:05 are starting to go into a part where they may be like not scoring well enough. So Jarkel's a bucket getter, and he'll get buckets when we're stagnating. And I appreciate Jarkel for that. It's not the most impressive game from him, but I had to find 5 stars. The other 2 guys who played, David Roddy, he was solid in a lot of ways, but he also missed 9 3-pointers. He was 0 for 9 from 3. 36 minutes, 14 points for Roddy, 6 of 19 from the field, 2 of 5 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal and 1 block, a +7. And then the other guy who played, the other 2 guys who played for us last night, Tyler Perry got in for 26 minutes for 7 points with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, and a steal. And then AJ Hogarth, 21 minutes, 10 points on 4 of 13 shooting with a rebound, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a +7. Yeah, it's a good team effort for a shorthanded team against the team. The Motor City Cruise had like 12 guys, and we only had 8. And I was worried, like, because the Raptors game came on at halftime of the 9:05 game because they started at 2 and the Raptors game started at 3. And so I really started focusing on the Raptors game once it started. In the second half of the 9:05, I didn't pay as close attention to. And I was really worried that while I was watching the Raptors game, that the 9:05 would start getting blown out because of the lack of depth for their team yesterday. But I was very pleasantly surprised to check back in on their score in the third quarter, and they had jumped to a huge lead and they had started routing the Motor City Cruise. And that's a testament to them when they should have been kind of fading and getting into kind of tired and letting the game go by the end of the game. No, they amped up things and took over, even shorthanded, and took care of Motor City Cruise. And that's really impressive to me. Really, really impressive to me. On the other side, who's of note? Wendell Moore Jr., 21 points on 10 of 11 shooting. And then also Bryce Williams off the bench with 20 points on 4 of 10 shooting. Great to hear Randy Urban once again calling the game with Warren Ward also. Yeah, just good stuff out at 905 land. Another win, another dub. The Raptors and the Raptors 905 for the month are now 6-1 between the two teams. Only one loss to Minnesota for the Raptors themselves, and everything else is a W for both clubs. 6-1 between the two clubs right now. It's awesome. So good. Fiercely saying, great win for the Raptors yesterday. It was expected, but I liked that it allowed TJD to give us a nice preview for how he would contribute. Solid debut. That's not a preview. That's the start of it. That's the start of it. That's the debut. That is the debut for sure. Yeah, that's the start of it. Neil's saying this: if you want to keep Julian, it's simple. Chucky is out for the season. Release him and give the two-way to Julian. That could work. I mean, this is a tough league, man. You can't get hurt in your rookie year like that. And somebody says scary. You want to stick with Chucky, and it's dark times. But man, this league is moving so fast, and you got to keep up. And health is wealth, and availability is the most important ability. And that is a very easy way to do that change. And you don't have to convert anybody and move them up. But that is cutting Chucky. That's the thing. And he's undrafted. He wasn't a draft pick. Fiercely saying my 5 stars were Scotty, Jacoby, Mamu, RJ, and TJD. That's pretty good. Those are good stars. G saying Scotty looking into the camera and pleading to the fans for free throws was so unintentionally funny. Dude, Scotty's just awesome, man. Scotty gets it. He really does. He's starting to get it. Like, I swear, like in some ways he may be taking notes, and maybe just he has somebody in his inner circle that's thinking like us, because in some ways some of the criticisms and the things we say about what he should do next, he's going and doing. Like, it's crazy. Like in the last 2 weeks, I said, Scott, you got to look at your matchup and say, who am I playing against tonight? Who's the superstar on the other side? I got to beat them. If it's SGA, I got to outscore SGA. If it's Nikola, I got to outscore Nikola. That's the way superstars used to look at it back in the day. Jordan had to beat Reggie Miller and Clyde Drexler and Isaiah Thomas and Charles Barkley. That's what you got. That's the old NBA superstar model. In some ways, that shit was fun. That shit was awesome. And that was the best way to market your superstars, is like, you got to come up and play Kawhi, Scotty. So beat Kawhi, And well, the challenge is Pascal. It's a familiar guy. It's a comfortable guy. And maybe he feels more comfortable testing out that whole superstar versus superstar. I'm going to beat you and get you outscored. Who's it going to be on Wednesday? Cade, his old friend Cade. So in some ways, there's some comfort in that too, from their friendship, that, he may get up for playing against Cade, just like he gets up for playing against Siakam. So yeah, outscore Cade, outplay Cade, Scotty, on Wednesday. Go and check your stat line towards his at the end of the night. And if you scored more than him, you have a better efficient stat line than him, then you did your job. That's what we're saying right here. And I love that. I love that so much, man. I love that so much. Fiercey's brought up this. This is really good. I'm glad she brought this up. This is a great cue card. Interesting that Trace was training with Darko's friend, Decky. I believe, rest in peace to him. Decky was specializing with bigs, so it's as if he was meant to be with us. The stars aligned for it. Yeah, this is something, I mean, it just shows the interconnectedness of the NBA family. We know that Decky died unexpectedly during the season a couple of years ago, and that's why they were wearing the break t-shirts. And the every time the Warriors play the Raptors now, they do kind of a special honoring of him because he was a Serbian man that was very close with Darko, and obviously he was on the staff with Steve Kerr and a very close friend to all the people in Golden State. That that is something that's a really easy way to find connection and trust is the connection to Decky. And Darko knows him very well, and in some ways, Trace let it be known that like their styles are similar, so he kind of has a feel for maybe how Darko might be from working with the big man coach from the Warriors that passed away. So yeah, this is awesome, and I'm glad that he mentioned this and brought it up because in some ways, this is a really good, easy way for Darko to lay down instant trust with TJD. Is yeah, my friend Decky. Oh, I love him so much, and I miss him so much. I miss him too, Coach. That kind of stuff. It's really important, man. And I was glad to hear about that after the game. And rest in peace to Decky forever. And I know that his absence is still felt in the Serbian basketball community, the Golden State Warriors community, and in the Raptors community with Darko, for sure. For sure. I know Jama was close to him too. Smooth saying at this point, the Raptors just need to win all their games against the bad teams and try to play 500 against the good teams, get the 45, 46 wins, and be a 6 seed, in my opinion. That's good progress. Yeah, fuck all that. Man, Reggie, I don't know why I'm not seeing eye to eye with you anymore, man. Like, I'm not with this, man. You're aiming too fucking low, bro. We're going for 4 still. Fuck this shit, man. That's loser talk, bro. Just because we're sitting where we are right now in the standings, we're going to get over the Cavaliers again. And you're saying we're going to fall behind another team to be in 6? Fuck all this shit, Reggie. We're going to be a home court team, top 4. And we're going to get it together, especially when Yak gets healthy. And we got TJD now. We're going to win way more often. And this cruise control bullshit you're describing here, man, I don't know why I'm at so odds with you. I think it's the trade deadline pissed me off a little bit. And now you're bringing this loser talk in here. Like you're saying, I'll be okay with 6. Fuck that. We're going for 4th. We're going for 4th, like where we were. We're just a little bit under where we were for the temporary. Trust me. We're going to jump back in the top 4. Man, you're aiming too low. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stargate saying this. I lost my place for a second. I wonder what Chev is going to say now. Man, I don't care what Chev's going to say. Chev, if you gone to work now and you're too busy because you're working a new job and you can't really pay attention to the Raptors, why don't you just stop paying attention to the Raptors? You go ahead and be NBA Chev for the Knicks again. All right, you're in your home. Your home team's doing good. You can revert back to this. Just go show your true colors of blue and orange. And stop trying to front like you're got that black and red. Seriously, my guy. Seriously. Because, like, look, you were a bona fide Raptors content creator for a while, and we liked you a lot up here in Toronto. But, man, you're showing your ass in the last 6 months. And in some ways, you know what? I would say you're turning off Raptors supporters because in some ways you're just – I don't know what's going on with you, man. Seriously, I don't know what's going on with him. Seriously, if you're turning on RJ, well, that's just showing that blue and orange that runs through your veins. Seriously, I'm telling you right now, you fucking coming at RJ, you coming at Bobby Webster, you're an idiot, Chev. And in some ways, it's like my spiel about Bobby Webster earlier at the beginning of the stream could be directed to you, nephew. Seriously, Trace Jackson Davis. Hello, Chev. Hello, with your out of pocket criticisms of Bobby Webster and your recent content and your bullshit about RJ Barrett. Yeah, 2-finger salute to NBA Chev. I used to be an ally. I love that guy. But he's fucking off his rocker recently. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him these days. Seriously, why are you so miserable, NBA Chev? Seriously, fucking get your head out of your ass. Man, seriously. Smooth saying, I watched the Chev video to get context, and I understand it now. He meant to say that holding on to draft capital doesn't make sense anymore because there's no real blue chip guys anymore. Yeah, I can get behind this. The main brunt was not willing to give draft capital for Sabonis was wrong. That's what he's saying. He's saying, oh, to not give draft capital. Listen, the main problem with that is Sabonis is overpaid and he's not worth the contract holding in the salary cap. Shep should say that. Forget about the picks. He said, "Oh, they should have done it because draft doesn't matter anymore, and they should have just got Sabonis." Fuck that. We got Trace Jackson Davis, and he could probably do half the shit that Sabonis does for a fucking tenth of what he gets paid. Hello? Stupid. Whatever Chef's point is, he's an idiot. And I agree, though. Draft capital doesn't matter, and people overvalue draft capital. But I like a bird in the hand over two in the bush. And Trace Jackson Davis is a bird in the hand. And whoever's in the draft coming up, they're two in the bush. And I have no fucking idea if they're going to be any good. So I'd rather go with a known quantity, a guy who's proven in the NBA, a guy who's played in the NBA, who's doing it in the NBA already, than some college kids who I fucking have to worry about whether they're actually going to be good or not. So it's like, I get half of this, but the other half is stupid because he's not looking at Sabonis's price and understanding just how stupid that is to add to the Raptors salary cap. Oh my gosh, Chev, low. What are you doing, man? Why are you not understanding this shit? You're a smart guy. Smooth saying, and he was venting that Boston got Vooch and how we got to build relationships with other teams. He's very New York, old school, man. Yeah, I don't give a shit. So stay with New York. Raptors Nation don't need you no more, Chef. We've outgrown you, and you're showing your true colors. Your team's doing well, so just revert to your original alliance. You just fucking, that's the problem, man. You can't do this two ways. I'm 1-1 of Raptors. That's it. The second team is not happening. You have a place in your heart for the Knicks, and the Knicks are doing better than the Raptors, so you need to revert to your original allegiance and just stop fucking covering the Raptors for a while, Chef. Seriously, maybe not cover them anymore, because in some ways you're a flash in the pan Raptors person anyway. You showed up when OG hit a three off an inbounds pass from Kyle Lowry. And, well, how many years has that been since then? You going to be a Raptors supporter for 5 years? Now that the Knicks are back, you go ahead and fucking show your ass? Go ahead and go just be a Knicks person. Seriously. I'm sick of this shit. Chev, whatever Chev's saying, take it with a grain of salt, y'all. Seriously, take it with a grain of salt. Listen, does he understand that Boston is a team with privilege, just like the Knicks? And that a deal like this is organized and easier for the Knicks or the Celtics franchise to get a Vucevic? That it's not easy for the Raptors to maneuver in this league? And in some ways, we play by totally different rules than the most dear and darling teams in the league, the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks? Do you not understand this, Chev? You're gonna fucking put down Bobby Webster because you see this Brad Stevens could get Nikola Vucevic? And you're like, oh, why did Bobby get a player like Vucevic? He should have gotten Sabonis. Shut the fuck up. Our team is good. We don't need to make a drastic change. And we need to discover more of what this team's doing. Bobby's doing exactly what he should be doing. And anybody criticizing Bobby Webster because he didn't make a big splash like a Nikola Vucevic, you're an idiot. We have a fantastic team. We don't need to make a big, huge change to it like this. And understand we are not Boston, we are not the Lakers, and we are not the Knicks, and we are not allowed to do some of the shit that they are allowed to do. And understand that. In some ways, y'all's toxicness of coming at Bobby for not doing something on that level is part of the whole compoundment of the bullshit that we deal with as our franchise being the only Canadian team. So don't fucking add to the noise and add to the bullshit, Raptors Nation. Understand this league is not completely fair. This league is not completely equal. And the Raptors have to do what they do the way they do it because of that. It's not like, oh, we could just go get Vucevic. Why didn't we outbid Boston for Vucevic? Fucking wake up and see the fucking writing on the wall and see the reality of the NBA and the Raptors' place in it. Okay? Seriously. Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so we're saying this. I already read that. Neil's saying IQ was playing through a sore ankle last night. That's right. And he still managed to be productive and do great things on the court. And he didn't ask too much for himself. He fit in. He played in the flow of the game, and he was extremely helpful in the game last night. That's right. Neil's saying sitting Pascal doesn't require punishment. Does it not? What is that double negative right there? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Sitting Pascal requires punishment. Other players need to get stronger with the extra minutes. I don't understand what you're saying. Siakam played pretty much the whole game last night. Rick Carlisle brought in his bench when the game was out of hand, right around when we brought in our bench. I don't understand what you're saying. Siakam played the game. Smooth saying Indiana has to lose to keep their lottery pick. It's 1-4 and 10-15 protected. It's 5-9 and onward. It's the Clippers pick. Yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that. Rick Carlisle is a coach of pride. In some ways, he understands that you want to put good habits in your players, and playing to lose is a bad habit. You can ask the Sixers. And you know what? In some ways, the coaches have pride. The GM and other people are trying to do some manipulative shit to get higher in the draft. Well, shame on them. The coaches should never be about trying to lose on purpose. I know Darko was this way the last couple of years when we were losing more. He's saying we're not trying to lose, y'all. And in some ways, y'all telling us that we need to lose to get a higher draft pick is insulting, because they're not wired to think this loser ass way that tank enthusiasts fucking think. It's just like, I don't have any like respect for coaches that outright tank on purpose, like Hardy. I don't have respect for him. I lost a lot of respect for Will Hardy just in the last couple of days. I don't have respect for that. I don't. I know that the Raptors may have held guys out strategically last year to maybe land the plane on an L. Sure. In some ways, that is fucked up. And I don't like that in this league. I think all teams should be playing all out. And that's why my suggestion for how they do the draft lottery in the future could hopefully help that. It's like, don't reward the losing, reward the winning, even at the bottom of the league in the bottom 12 teams. That's the way I look at it, man. They could figure that out. Say, look, if you have the best records in the bottom of them, we're going to give you more ping pong balls and not the other way around. We got to try and figure this out, Adam Silver, because in some ways it's a stupid league when you have teams that are absolutely trying to lose on purpose. It's a stupid league for that. Yeah. Yeah, we all have different opinions. Now they're opinions, but we're talking about how to fix the league. We're talking about how to fix the league right here. Neil's saying this, just add 2 more teams to the league and put every team in the playoffs. That creates 1 extra round, and every team gets playoff experience, and there's the possibility of more upsets. I've heard you expound on this idea before in the past, and I thought it was intriguing, but I think it's not realistic. The fact that you're going to put a 32-team tournament for the NBA playoffs, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's like March Madness level shit. And in some ways, I just don't see that happening. I mean, maybe if the revenue's like the plan for it and the revenue that generates from it is insane, maybe, but you're still got to figure out who's going to get these picks, even though, maybe you lose and the first people that lose in the first round, they get the picks. Then maybe people are manipulating how they lose in the first round of this 32 team tournament. I don't know. They got to really stress test this shit and understand there's innovation and cheating and loser mentality of tanking that some people are going to try and manipulate and take advantage of. So Adam Silver's got to just figure out the rules, the changes that will prevent and punish teams from doing this kind of shit. Seriously, man. It's really bad, man. Really, really bad. Kesper's saying this. Now they're saying the league's irritated about tanking teams trading for injured players. We are the pioneers of loophole team building. Oh, because of Brandon last year? Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that some ways perception and the way social media talks about the NBA and thinks about it is so toxic and so fucked up and so mutated to like the stuff that just isn't what the NBA is. It's like people are so out of touch with what the NBA used to be and what it was when it was great that it sucks, man. It's partly the gambling. It's partly the whole idea of championship or bust. It's partly this whole fucking ordaining superstars that become losers and people that are not counted on, and the marketing behind them looks stupid and hollow. There's so many different issues that is wrong with the NBA that in some ways they need to get back to what's real and what's authentic and what it is, what made it great in the 80s with Jordan and Bird and Magic in the first place. And there's, gimmicky all-star weekends are not the answer. They are not the answer right now. Yeah. Neil's saying 905 is in second place in their conference and get back that first place spot. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. They jumped back over Cleveland Charge and Greensboro Swarm. They're only behind Osceola Magic. And they're going to play Greensboro Swarm. No, not Greensboro Swarm. Cleveland Charge in Cleveland before the All-Star break. That's their last game this week before they take off for the All-Star break themselves. So we'll get to see a team that's right next to us in the Eastern standings in the G League, and that's Cleveland's G League team, the Charge. And hopefully we'll beat them and continue this win streak that we got. Yeah, get this win streak. Neil's saying, I love Chuck, but if he can't play, then give that spot up. He can get it back next season. Chuck, he called him Chuck. Like I think Charles Barkley, but you're saying Chucky Hepburn. I don't know, man. I don't know. In some ways, Chucky, you got to play in an NBA game earlier this season, right? They called you up and you got into a game, right? So you got your NBA dream. That may be it, man. That may be it. That's how cruel and tough this league is, man. To stay in it and get a spot and carve out a career is so hard. Is may get a cup of coffee just like Marquise Noel, and that's it. That's kind of the precedent right there. Is Marquise Noel's an undrafted guy. Not everybody can be Justin Champagny. Not everybody can be Jamison Battle. And some people are going to be more Marquise Noel, and get a hot cup of coffee, and that's your NBA career. You're done. And it's sad. It's like Chucky didn't ask to get hurt. But, man, I don't know. We'll just have to see how Bobby does things. In some ways, I would not be against this. Chucky's great, and Chucky's fun. But in some ways, we got Jacoby. We've got Elijah. We've got guys that'll get out there and do this. We've got Shed. So let's see. Kaloy's saying this. Morning, Lex and friends. I think Darko instructed Scotty in halftime to take over the game. I think that is what we were waiting for. Darko is getting ready to unleash, take over Scotty. Oh, yeah. Now, I want to say this. Darko, after the game, said that he doesn't like the term take over the game. He said that that's not what he asked him to do. He said that he doesn't like that term. In some ways, he has to have his whole ecosystem of sharing and putting the ball around, that he would never ever tell one of his players to take over the game. That's what he said in the press conference. Really, I think what happened was that at halftime, there were a couple of things that they said to the players. They said, we need to get more rebounds and we need somebody to go inside and get points inside. And well, basically some of the guys on the team's ears perked up, and Trace Jackson Davis, his ears perked up to the rebounds. He said, oh, coach wants somebody to go get more rebounds. I think in the second half, I'm going to go board like crazy and be board man that gets paid. And well, Scotty may have heard the whole thing. We need more points in the paint, and we need to get more scoring up close. She said, you know what, coach, maybe I'll try and do that in the third quarter real quick. He did not specifically ask Scott to do this. He made that clear after the end of the game. And he also said that I don't like the term taking over the game. I don't like that. I don't want anybody to be that selfish or feel like they have to do that, whether it's Brandon or Scotty. So maybe in some ways it's not even Scott that's being so unselfish that it's a detriment, because he should be more selfish to take over the game and do stuff. It may be also the leadership of Darko's kind of like, no, we're egalitarian. We spread the ball around. RJ, Emmanuel, Brandon, Scotty, Colin, everybody. And in some ways, maybe Scott was like, you know what, though? I feel good energy. I feel the flow. These are the right decisions. These are winning basketball plays and the right decisions. But I'm just calling my own number. And I mean, to us as fans, Scotty took over the game. But Darko's like, no. He didn't take over the game. We just played, and that's just how it happened. Kaloy's saying, sad for Chucky. It sucks to get injured like that while being a two-way. A lot of uncertainty for him. Yeah, he's growing the beard out like he's, how in the movies when somebody's kind of down and out, like Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon, he's in his trailer with his dog. He's like, I'm suspended again. It's like kind of like, in the movies, he's got that kind of hangover like beard right now. Like he's just like going through it, and he's on crutches. He can't walk without crutches right now. So yeah, it's scary. It's tough. I mean, at least Chucky's got his baby, and hopefully his baby's a good distraction. And that's that. At least that's the pivot. Fred VanVleet's out. He starts a podcast. You're out, Chucky. Well, you get way more time with your brand new newborn baby that was born at the beginning of the season. So make the best of your time with your kid, man, especially since it's tough to be out and see everything going on, and you like to be there. You like to be there. Yeah, Kaloy's saying so much AI advertisement last night in the Super Bowl made me want to vomit. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't even see all that. I heard that Bad Bunny did a fantastic job at halftime, and that he did a thing where he had all the countries of South America, North America, including Canada, shouted out in it. He had Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin with him. And it sounds like Bad Bunny made a very good, strong statement for the people and for diversity and for, nations staying the nations that they are. And that's fantastic, man. Good job with all that. And the right people are upset about it. Well, they did a good job. They did a good job. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying that Bad Bunny halftime performance was incredible. Very well done. It just seemed like from the pictures, because I didn't watch it, it seemed like it was very colorful, energetic, and vibrant and just the kind of message we probably need right now. The best kind of messages, the messages of about humanity, they're the right messages, and not the messages coming from the White House right now in the United States. Those aren't the right messages. We even had this guy, this skier, say something about the United States at the Winter Olympics, and Donald Trump's getting in a fight with him on his truth social bullshit. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's looking really bad right now with his racist bullshit that he did to the Obamas. He's just an idiot and a loser. And he's completely losing his marbles, that demented fuckface named Donald Trump. He is absolutely losing his marbles. And the Super Bowl, fantastic halftime. And good job, Seahawks. That's what I say right there. That's right. Cloy's saying we are 2 for 2 with players with 3-letter initials, CMB and TJD. Yeah, it's awkward still. TJD. I guess I'll get used to it. TJD, 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 CMB. Gloy said, yeah, I enjoyed that Bad Bunny performance. The set and camera work is top notch. I'm going to guess he said top notch. That's cool. Kareem's here. Good morning, Kareem Thomas, the butt dialer. After yesterday's third quarter performance, I don't ever want to hear anything about Giannis. What it mean? Like him compared to Giannis? Because I'll do that. He was doing Giannis shit. That is crazy strength and transition and speed, and nobody's stopping him. And I'm going to go to the basket and dunk it. That is Giannis' signature move, right? That's something that everybody said, wow, this dude is on another level because this is Giannis. Well, Scotty's doing Giannis stuff right now. He's doing Giannis stuff for sure. Last night I saw him do a Giannis impression for a second there. Neil saying Chucky can bounce back next season. I have confidence in him, but that spot he holds needs to go to an available player that we can hold on to. Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather have Julian around than Chucky. No offense to Chucky. Chucky, you're a very skilled defensive player, but in some ways you have limitations in other areas. I don't know, man. I think that in some ways the Raptors do need more of a pipeline of bigs and more stuff in bigs. I feel like our skill and our spots with our guards are fine. Quickly and Shed, those guys are awesome. You put Jacoby into that group too as a possible backup point guard, also shooting guard. You know, and plus because of Scott and RJ, the way that they play as passers, the depth at point guard is not as important on the Raptors, guys. The depth at center and power forward is, as evidenced by that. And we were very heavy on guards this season until we traded Oshai and flipped him into TJD. And now it's a little bit more balanced on a roster for bigs and smalls. And in some ways, that's why I'm like, I would much rather have Julian Reese in the pipeline since Shamshay's gone than, work with Chucky totally. And that's no disrespect to Chucky, man. You're a cool dude. And I think you're a great player. And if you had been healthy and going forward, I'd be supporting and wanting to see you more. But this is exactly right what Neil's saying. We need somebody to be available right now. We don't want, like, if we're going to cut people like Ron Harper Jr. and Marquise Noel in the past for them being absent because of injury on their two-way, in some ways, that's what we might have to do. I mean, can we work out a deal where we can get him off the two-way? We'll still help him with his rehab and all of his physio to get back to being okay. But maybe we're not allowed to help him unless he is on the two-way. I don't know. We're trying to do the honorable thing, too. I think that's part of it. Let's see. Kareem saying that last place spot is dedicated for Shamshay. Nobody can tell me different. It could possibly be exactly right. It could be. I don't know. I've speculated that. That may not be totally true. Neil saying, FYI, Raptors not letting go of CP3 unless they have to. That's not exactly how it's working. I think Blake Murphy explained it. It's like a timing thing with deadlines. And if he does the waiving of Chris Paul at the right time, we could get benefits from it, actually. We can get benefits. Yeah, let's see. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. I take every win and note the losses. Our game against the Pistons is a very tough one. And unfortunately, we're going to be brutalized. What? Doesn't sound good, but just reality. We shall see. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You say we're going to be brutalized? What is all this talk, y'all? Why are y'all such Debbie Downers? Smooth's telling me that we're going to be six, and you're saying we're going to be brutalized by Beef Stew and Jalen Duren? I don't believe that. We hadn't seen them yet. They haven't seen us. Man, maybe they can do all this stuff all year against other teams. They ain't seen the Raptors yet. So when we get in the court with the Pistons in a couple days, well, let's just see what is true. Maybe we brutalize them. I wouldn't even use that verb right now. That verb is awful because there are people being brutalized in the United States in warehouses by ICE. And in some ways, that's a horrible word right now. It's like, that's not the right word right now. It doesn't sound good. Yeah, it really doesn't sound good. Ha ha ha, nephew. Ha ha ha. I took that from you, Kaloy. Yeah, you called somebody a nephew the other day. I've decided this is a good term for what it means in the Raptors social media world. This is a good term for this, and this gets this across. Kessler is saying, I think Chef just really wanted Sabonis. Well, boo-hoo-hoo, little baby. I wanted Sabonis, Daddy. Okay, Veruca, you can't buy an Oompa Loompa. That's slavery, and that's fucked up, Veruca Salt. So I'm sorry, Chef. You can't have Sabonis. Boo-hoo-hoo. These entitled motherfuckers. Who the fuck are you? Bobby Webster does his job. You just watch. Know your roles, jabroni. You're a fan. You're not in the front office, Chev. Motherfucker. Blackhawks said we swept the Cavs and their honeymoon period will eventually end before the playoffs. We can take them. Yeah, we won't play the Cavs again this year. We swept them, and they got James Harden now. And, well, we'll just have to see the experiment of Big Game James on the Cavs with that team and that ecosystem and whether it works or not. Kessler said this, give him time to chill out. Like with the P skills trade, he'll come around. Who are you talking about? Who were you talking about last time? Oh, Chev? I don't give a shit about Chev. I don't watch Chev. I haven't watched Chev in years. I used to watch him, but I didn't want to rip off his takes. So I don't watch him because I don't want to. If I do say the same thing as him, I have plausible deniability of like, well, I don't watch him. Well, I didn't rip him off. I don't watch him. You know, if he's saying the same thing as me, we came to the same point of conclusion. But no, I don't like this, man. People have been telling me more and more in the last couple of weeks that Chev has gone off the off the tracks. And he's kind of going in the wrong direction, toxically in a negative way around the Raptors. I don't understand that. We're a playoff team. We're winning. We've won more games this year than we won last year. We're having fun. We got Brandon Ingram. Scotty Barnes is elevating his game to Giannis levels. What the fuck is wrong with you, Chev? Why can't you smile? Why can't you fucking be happy? What the fuck is wrong with you? This is a problem. There's a certain level of entitlement around Raptors Nation that they think everything has to be perfect or everything has to be this or that. They doesn't have to be jack shit. We should just be fans, enjoy, go to the games, watch the games. You're a fan. Watch the fucking games. Enjoy them. Watch the dunks. Watch the W's. Watch the threes. Watch the team and entertain yourself. You're not understanding your role, jabroni. Yeah. Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson would tell you, know your role and shut the fuck up. I mean, seriously, Chev, why are you upset? What is there to be upset right now? I am having a glorious year with the Raptors this year. I am enjoying myself. I'm having so much fun. And you guys know my heart's in the right place for the Toronto Raptors because that's all I eat, live, and breathe as a Raptors freak. And you think that I'm having a worse time this year than I had last year? Or the year before that? Or in the Tampa year? No. I'm enjoying myself. And if any Raptors fan ain't enjoying themselves during this season, something's wrong with you. That's the problem right there. If you're not enjoying yourself with the Raptors this year with Brandon Ingram, there's something wrong with you. It's not the team. It's not Bobby Webster. It's not Darko. It's you, motherfucker, because you can't enjoy successful basketball. I'm just going to say this. There's something wrong with you, Chev. If you're all bitter and pissed off and fucked up when we're winning. There's something wrong with you, bro. Seriously, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Kaloy saying Sabonis is not a winning player, period. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get a $40 million albatross around our necks from our salary cap and get a player that has been proven not to add up to winning in the ways he's been on Indiana and Sacramento. Indiana got better when Sabonis left. And Sacramento's been garbage the whole time he's been there. So, yeah, Kaloy's exactly right. Kareem saying, just a reminder, a healthy Jakob Poeltl gives us an extra 3 to 4 wins, and that would place us in second or third. Nobody can tell me different. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready to go on a streak where, yeah, like Reggie's saying earlier, he wants to just be 500 against the best teams. Take care of all the good teams, for the bad teams for sure. Yep. And just be 500 against the best teams. Maybe we could do a little better. Maybe we could try and beat all the best teams just like we beat the Thunder, just like we beat the Warriors and Golden State. Why can't we try and just aim high and achieve and clean up all, make sure we take care of all the teams like Indiana and Chicago? Yeah. Yeah. I don't see why we can't get even better in the standings, win at a higher clip for the rest of the season, especially if we're healthy and we just got reinforcements with TJD. Yeah. I don't see why we can't do this. Jakob shows back up. Oh my gosh, look out. People are going to remember why he's a really good player for us to have. Seriously. Yeah, you don't pay first round picks for a player like Sabonis. Save that for the chip more move. Yeah, whatever his reasoning behind like the value of trade of draft picks and stuff like that. Listen, the philosophy of the Toronto Raptors compared to other teams is we don't have to hoard a ton of draft picks like Oklahoma City did. What we need to do is when we get our draft picks, and they're the ones we get given to us anyway, because the NBA gives you a draft pick in each round, the 2 rounds every year, right? So you're supposed to get 2 draft picks. We just use what we get. We don't need anything extra. How many players do we bring into a team every year? Usually around 2. And, well, that's the first pick and the second pick and maybe the undrafted guy. And it's just the thing. It's like we don't have to take a whole lot of shots. We just have to make the shots that we take. And if we have 2 draft picks, we want to hit on both of them. And we don't want a lot of extraneous resources like Oklahoma City getting a whole bunch of players and then having to figure out later. In some ways, there's waste in that. Logical Raptors fanatic and I talked about it. You draft all those guys, you invest development time and resources in to try and bring those guys up. And well, Alexei Poku's ain't in the league anymore. You know, there's a lot of different Thunder guys that just going somewhere else. So these draft picks that Sam Presti stockpiles, do they matter? Does it? No. It's just like he has a shotgun that has buckshot, and he's just spreading out a lot of pellets all over the place. We're taking a bazooka, and we're shooting one big shell and one draft pick, and we're making it call Murray-Boyles. That's the difference right there. In some ways, this is quality over quantity. And the Raptors will get 2 draft picks every year automatically. Why do we need to go and trade to get more draft picks and give up our own stuff to get more draft picks? We don't. We just utilize what we get automatically to the fullest extent. And this is how we be who we are. That's what I'm saying. Some people got to understand that. We don't do things like the rest of the league. We can't. We're the only Canadian team. And everybody who thinks that we should be doing things because other teams are doing things like Boston or Golden State, you are fools. You've got to understand we're a special team in this league. And some of the stuff that those other teams can do, we can't. And some of the things that they can get away with wasting and doing all kinds of stuff, we can't, because we have to be that tight and that tough and that good at what we do. Because it's like OG, we don't shoot to miss, we don't draft to miss, and we make the best of all our resources, and we have very little waste as a front office. We have very, very little waste. There's tons of teams that waste all over the place, waste draft picks, waste resources, draft knuckleheads who come in and they suck, and in 2 years they're gone. There's so much of that shit. Meanwhile, we're doing all our homework. We're getting most of this shit right. And the track record is there. And OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, Colin Murray-Boyles, Scotty Barnes. You know, the track record is there. We're hitting on most of our guys. You know, that's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Kareem saying we need a serviceable center, not a fucking superstar. We literally have a defensive player of the year, all-star in Scotty. We have a bona fide all-star in Brandon. We got a potential 6th man of the year, most improved player in Mamu. Why the fucking people mad? Why are they mad? I don't know. We're successful. We're doing great. You know what I think it is, Kareem? I think that all 30 teams have this phenomena now, that social media has gotten so toxic with bots and just crazy ass stupid shit. I don't think half the people that are saying the shit that's negative on team pages are actually people. I think that it's just weaponized in some ways to make people more angry and negative and divided. And it's part of the whole scheme of keeping people at odds against each other is to go into the sports world on social media and make people upset. The problem is right now, because the Raptors are so successful, it really rings so dumb. And like, why are you upset? And like, you can tell this energy that I just described from the energy being like this at this point, because nobody should be upset with the Raptors right now. Nobody should be upset with Bobby. Nobody should be upset with Darko. Nobody should be upset with anybody on the team. But there's forces out there that have to have negative energies coming at all 30 teams at all times because it's warfare of the psychological online kind. And that's what this is. But the truth is our team's badass, and you can suss out exactly where this energy is and what it looks like right now because it's so clear that you shouldn't have it. Right there. If you want to figure out the toxic bullshit people that are around Raptors Nation with their bullshit in social media places, listen to how they're talking right now. And if they're talking like Chev or Pensair, you realize these are miserable fucks that don't actually care about whether the Raptors are successful or not. They just care more about their subscriptions and their clicks than actually whether the team's at the top of the standings or winning or going to the playoffs. It's like right now, nobody has no reason to be upset, man. Seriously, they really don't. Stargate saying this Chef's perspective on the Raptors over the past few months is not only very disappointing, but leads me to believe that he is being paid to switch up. His switch is so sudden. Yeah, this kind of shit could happen, you know? This kind of stuff could happen. Seriously, he could get a new sponsor and maybe they're trying to influence him, you know? Somebody's like, "We'll give you this money for advertising and putting us on your show, but we'd like you to try and do this more or this." They can your morals can be compromised by that if you're able to be bought, $1 million man. That's the thing. They can't buy me because money doesn't matter to me in any kind of way in my life. In fact, I live in the future already, guys, ahead of you guys. And someday you guys will be like me too, hopefully, where we live in a universal basic income world where you have all your needs met and you don't have to worry or stress about any of this stuff. I'm on the other side already. And in some ways, that informs my perspective of not giving a shit about money as much as everybody else. And some of you say, "Wow, Lex, that's super privileged, and you're so lucky." In some ways, I'm mad at you for that. Listen, don't be mad at me because in some ways, we want this world for your children in the future. And in some ways, I'm a test run on this. And I'll tell you right now, if we get to this point where everybody can live like me, the world will be so much better place. And that's the thing, man. These old systems are going to fall. And I may be like a front runner for the way that more people are going to get to live in the future. So, AI and robotics are going to take jobs, and we're going to have to figure out how people are going to get their needs met. And well, Elon Musk himself is talking about universal basic income and saying that, people are going to have high income and nobody's going to have to worry about anything eventually. I don't know if he means that just for a specific, very high a billionaire class like he's in, or he means that for the general masses. I don't know. It's very interesting stuff. But the most dangerous person in the world is the person that doesn't give a shit about money in the least. And I'm that dude, just so you know. Because people have come in here and tried to buy me off. People have tried to change me and make me different with money and trying to throw money at me and impress me with money. I never took the bait and I never compromised who I am and what I'm doing. If Chev's done this for some reason behind the scenes, well, shame on him. And in some ways, I feel very lucky, and I have so much gratitude to be in the position I am in. And I wish that for everyone in this world. That's the difference between me and some of these other people out there is that the way I get to live should be the way everybody gets to live. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. Jimmy's here. Good to see the Pope of Positivity. Jimmy Pope, when Yak comes back, it will unlock us. I can't wait. Yeah. Yeah, it'll take us to another level, and hopefully it'll take us 2 more spots up in the standings. At least 2 more. At least 2 more. KT saying Chev is a New Yorker. I'm not mad that he's riding for the Knicks. That's his home, but stop with the Raptors gig already. Yeah, I'm exactly with you on this. Listen, he can't do it like I do it because my heart has one place, and that's for Toronto. And in some ways, his heart always had that little bit of Knicks still in it while he was doing the Raptors content. And I get it. Like the Knicks are more successful right now. The Knicks have more of a chance to win a championship this year. And so in some ways, Chev, you are NBA Chev. You should be covering the whole NBA. And maybe you're over doting on the Raptors in the past. Maybe you need to back away from that and maybe be more a general NBA channel, maybe with more focus on the Knicks. That's what I'm saying. Wayne's saying this, Lex, please don't judge based on what any contributor reports. You don't listen to other people, so any nuance is going to be lost. Kindly note, and don't get overly opinionated on what you didn't hear. Yeah, but I do trust the people that are telling me this stuff. You know, in some ways, the sensitivities that Stargate has are similar to mine. I have the same sensibilities. I don't want to have to go and watch him. I don't have the time. And in some ways, I do trust people from this channel that are telling me what's going on. And the thing is, I don't. The first time I hear it, I'll say, "Okay, that doesn't sound like Chev. I don't like that." And I've been hearing this for about 6 months at least. Some people coming back and tell me Chev's really changed, or Chev's doing this, or Chev's doing that. So this isn't something that I've just overnight decided. This has been consistently from different people, even. It's not like one person's come in and told me Chev's doing this. There's like at least 6 people that are Raptor freaks that have come and told me Chev's out of pocket, Chev's doing this, Chev's doing that. So I appreciate your warning, Wayne, but I'm taking evidence and I'm taking comments from a lot of people on this. And this isn't new. This is something that's been developing over months recently. And it's something, I haven't really talked about Chev at any point recently until now. And well, you guys brought him up. And in some ways, the turn that he's had in recent times has not mirrored the Raptors' performance. Does that make sense? That's what's wrong here, I think. Stargate saying if he sees that he is going to make a video and spin doctor his stance with that New York talk, not knowing that a lot of us here are well versed in New York style of verbiage. Yeah, I mean, I like his style. I like his energy. I like the way he does things as far as his passion and his kind of character. But I don't like him being toxic for the Raptors. That's the biggest thing I don't like. And if he's coming for Bobby Webster, then I have a big problem with him. That's the biggest thing. If he's saying stuff like Bobby needs to go or some shit like that, fuck Chev is what I'm going to say right now. Because Bobby Webster is one of the best GMs in the league, and we should covet and protect him. And in a lot of ways, he's the last linkage to Ujiri, and we need him to be here to continue the legacy of Masai. So, Bobby's off limits, man. We don't fucking talk about firing our coach or our GM. And we don't talk about trading any of our more important guys either. That's what I say too. Yeah. Yeah. Kesper's saying, did he actually say he's switching up the Knicks? No, he didn't say that, but I'm just saying he should. He should, because that's his childhood team. That's his hometown team. That's the team he's rooted for his whole life. He's only been a Raptors fan for 5 years. He's only been a Raptors fan since the bubble. So if he only went to us because the Knicks were so pathetic and problematic that he got sick of rooting for them. And he's like, oh, I'd rather root for a team that's got their shit together, like the Raptors. And that's when he came into Raptors Nation. Maybe he came in to try and wreck us from the inside, like, because he was really a Knicks fan, and he comes in and he acts like he's a Trojan horse. He comes in, and he's like, hey, Raptors fans, I'm energetic, I'm fun, but I'm going to, on the down low, like, do shit over time that's going to kind of run things to the ground. Maybe he's desperate right now, kind of like Trump. He's desperate. He sees the whole thing burning down and it's not working. The Raptors are successful. They're going to the playoffs, and he's going even crazier with his shit because his plan to make us all fucked up isn't working. I would say the same thing about Robert Pensair. I'd say the same thing about his channel too, man. As far as like when we get successful, when we start doing well, these guys start showing their ass even worse because they feel like they're failing at the project they're trying to do, which is to mess up Raptors Nation from the inside with misinformation, jaded, negative bullshit, and all kinds of crazy talk about trading RJ and firing Bobby, shit like that. Let's see. Kesper's saying on some off-air Twitter space, if not, then that's just hearsay acquisition. No, I'm not saying that he said that. I'm saying that he should do that, is what I'm saying. There's no denying he's a Knick fan at heart. There's no denying this, Kesper. He's from New York. He grew up on Knicks. He loves the Knicks. His history is very well documented. That he came, like I said, he came to the Raptors after OG shot, against Boston in that 7-game series. That is when he became a Raptors fan. He's very, very, very open about that. I didn't really follow or fuck with the Raptors until after I saw the bubble and the performance they had against the Celtics in that 7-game series. I got my admiration and respect, and he decided he wanted to become a Raptors fan. Then this guy's been a Raptors fan since '94. Okay, this guy's been riding with them from Damon Stoudemire all the way till now. So there's a little bit of a difference here. There's a little bit of difference here. And it's not hearsay. It's not acquisition. I'm just saying if the Knicks are doing better and his heart's truly with them, why the fuck is he fucking with us still? Is what I'm saying. Stargate saying my dad's whole family lives in Brooklyn, Brownsville, Canarsie, Flatbush. I spent a lot of time in BK for the summers back when I in the day. That's cool. See, Stargate understands that. I've never been to New York City ever in my life, not once. Not even once. I've never been to New York. That's how Toronto I am. I've never been to Montreal either, though. Never been to LA either. But I don't care. I don't feel like I'm missing anything by not going to New York. Seriously. That's just me personally. Let's see. Kareem saying this. Same here at Daddy Gates. My family was mostly in Brooklyn, Flatbush, and Ocean. That's cool. You guys have the New York ties. That's very cool. Also, I have a lot of friends in the Bronx who I used to visit every other weekend back in the day to go party. I know New York well. This is good, man. Cool, cool. Flatbush and Avenue J. There you go. Ken A's here. Original Raptor Freak Ken A. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a great Monday morning so far. Pistons on Wednesday will be a good test. Totally agree with you. I'm excited about it. I really, really am. All right, let me go ahead and do the Instagram stories. We'll keep moving in the chat. Norman Powell has been announced that he's going to be in the three-point shootout, guys. So Norm is going to return and compete in the three-point shootout at All-Star Weekend. We wish Norman Powell well. I don't remember him doing very well the first time he was in it. So this will be his second time in it. This time he's coming back as the all-star in it. So good stuff. Norman's on top of the world, man. He's got a brand new baby. He's an all-star finally. Man, keep going, Norm. I love this for Norman. We love our playoff Powell. And, man, he's living the best life right now, man. He really is. Eugenio Marui is celebrating that Delano Banton, his friend from Toronto, has been called up from the Texas Legends G League team for the Dallas Mavericks to a 10-day contract with the LA Clippers. So Delano Banton will be a Clipper for at least 10 days starting today. Slim Duck has got Tears for Fears on his Instagram. We'll have to see what happens with Chris Boucher being traded to Utah and getting bought out, and now he's just sitting on the buyout market. Sadly, this may be it, guys. This may be it for our Raptor champion. Either way, we love you, Chris, and you're going to have a great life going forward no matter what, man. You got money in the bank, you got beautiful children, and you've got a great friends and family, and you got a great country called Canada too. So, yeah, you pivot more into Montreal Alliance stuff maybe. Maybe you should become a coach of the Montreal Alliance, or maybe you GM of the Montreal Alliance. That would be awesome. Wouldn't it be cool to see Chris Boucher involved in the Canadian Elite Basketball League as management? Because I think that is a very likely path for him. No lie. A lot of the Raptors and people are putting on blast Bad Bunny's halftime show. Why Not Lloyd loved it. He loved it, and so did Jay Simpson. That's very, very cool. Love that stuff. Love that stuff a lot. Yeah, it's very cold. Very, very cold right now. And Lindsay Dunn's in Montreal. She says it's like minus 5,000 or something like that. Crazy, crazy. She was definitely rooting for the Seahawks yesterday, is what she said. Let's see. What else we got? Jacoby's got the score from last night and the win. And there he is with the chain on his Instagram and his entry photo. There's Jamal Shed with his entry photo. There's Grady Dick getting a dunk in the middle of the game last night off the steal. Mamu passing it to him and him throwing it down on Jay Huff. Very, very cool stuff right there. Grady with the hammer and also his fit coming into the game. There's Emmanuel Quickly. Call 5, baby. Mamu with Scotty sitting on the floor. He's going to help get him up off the floor. And also he's also celebrating the back-to-back threes. And there's the team photo. Jonathan Mobo was doing the dinosaur thing when they do the dinosaur noise at the beginning of the game. They do like a Jurassic Park thing now in the intros at the arena where they have like an eye on the screen and it goes all dark and you hear the dinosaur going, roar! Well, Jonathan was acting out the dinosaur noise last night in the pregame announcements. He did the whole on the floor when it was happening. That's pretty cool. I like that, J-Mo. Jay Battle with the score from last night. AJ Lawson with the team and the team photo in the back. Yeah, just good stuff. Andrew Jones, so many good things about yesterday. He's celebrating Julian Reese and giving the chain. He gave the chain to two people yesterday, actually, in the back. Julian Reese got it as a player. And then apparently one of the coaches, Kat, had the scheme to beat the Motor City Cruise yesterday. So they gave the old 30th anniversary chain, Raptor chain from last year, to Kat as a coach for her game plan and setting up the Raptors 905 for success against Motor City. So very, very cool. Two chain winners yesterday in the Raptors 905 locker room. So they get that. Also, they had the kids out on the court, and it was I think that they had actually Andrew Jones's daughters were out there playing in the court. So very, very cool stuff in there. And there's the All-Star game coaching staff, and Andrew's on it, man. Very, very cool. Team World coaching staff is announced. Mary Andrade, Mike Batiste, Vin Bagnani, Pat Delaney, Andrew Jones, Eric Curry, Jama Malalea, Jim Sand, Ivo Simovic, and James Wade. That is the 10 that coached with Darko. And they will all be at the All-Stars as assistant coaches. We got to love that, man. You got to love that. Let's see what else we got. Toronto Tempo staff were at a college basketball game yesterday, women's game, and it was Sandy Brondello and Monica Wright-Rogers and somebody else. I'm not sure who the other person is. And they're very, very cool. Let's see. They're saying happy birthday to Chucky today, guys. It is actually Chucky's birthday today. Wow. Okay. Happy birthday, Chucky. I need to put that on the spreadsheet, honestly. I don't have that on the spreadsheet. Man, I feel bad saying this stuff I was saying about Chucky earlier, considering it's his birthday today. Yeah. All right. Let me fix that. I don't know why I hadn't put him on the spreadsheet for that, but I'll do it right now. We're going to know it's Chucky's birthday on February the 9th. Is Chucky's birthday. So let me write it in on a spreadsheet because I didn't have a birthday for today, honestly. So Chucky Hepburn's birthday is today. All right, good to know. We'll keep that on there. So happy birthday, Chucky. Let's see. Keep on going with the Instagram. Anything else that's important? No, that's it. That's it. That's good. That's good. Thanks for checking the Instagram stories with me there. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. Kareem saying, Lex, what do you think? Do you think we should just give Jakob the extra week of rest with the All-Star weekend coming up? Or if he's ready to go, he starts against Detroit on Wednesday? I think we need to have him come back. I don't think we should care about whether the All-Star break is happening or not, because in some ways it may be important for him to get in the window when the back is right. So, no, I think we need to have him come back, even if he just comes back for one game and then gets the All-Star weekend for a break. I think that we should see him on Wednesday. I think it is going to happen. I think that the chances of that happening are pretty high, like 80 to 90%, that Pirtle will be playing. He was so close to playing yesterday. It was just a slight decision at game time that didn't put him out there yesterday. So, yeah, I'd like him to play. Some ways we need to see him back out there because it's been 2 months, right? It's been 2 months. Stargate saying, Chev thinks Toronto people don't know New York. We know New York way more than he knows Toronto. He's never been here, but he wants to act like he knows the basketball culture and environment here and proceeds to tell us how we should view our team, how we should view our team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Has Chev ever set foot in Canada? Ask yourself that. Has he ever set foot in the actual country, like once? Has he ever been to Toronto? I don't think he has, guys. Neil's saying this. Scotty is getting more consistent with driving in the paint with his body. It's not taking over. It's Scotty getting more comfortable with doing it. Giannis mode, using your size to terrorize. Yeah, once again, I hate these words y'all are using. Brutalize and terrorize. These are fucking verbs that we don't need to be having around the world at any way because the world's going into a weird place. And let's strike these kind of words from our vocabulary. Seriously. Scotty, I think it's just the term. He doesn't like taking over as a term. It's just like he doesn't like to say we're sending him down to 905. It's just he doesn't like that. He also got asked how he thought about Trace's performance last night. He said, I didn't think anything of it. He's very stubborn and kind of standoffish to the press in certain ways. And one of the ways is like, you're telling me I have to judge my player just because everybody else has got their microscopes out and they're doing science lab doesn't mean I am. In some ways, I realized that he needs a good runway of games before I totally assess him. And even though he had a good game last night, I'm not looking at it whether he had a good game or a bad game. He's going to have to play like 10 games and then I'll assess him. And he has no pressure. He has no pressure, no expectations as of now. We're just discovering who TJD is. And in some ways, it's not about like nitpicking him or like looking at that. I love that energy Darko showed to Michael Grange about that in the press conference last night because people are like, "Oh, what did you think of him?" And it's like he's like, I didn't think any of him. I didn't think about him because in some ways he's just doing what he's doing, and in some ways I'm not trying to evaluate him right now. That's what he said. It's very interesting. KT saying when Bad Bunny gave the Grammy to the kid, it was the kid that was taken by ICE. Performance was incredible. I didn't understand shit, but the vibe was absolutely real. That was the little rabbit kid that he gave the that to. That's pretty awesome, man. That is pretty awesome, man. I like that a lot. That they incorporated that kid into the show. That's a big deal, man. That's a really, really big deal. I didn't know. I didn't watch it. Stargate saying Bad Bunny had one of the biggest pops I have ever seen in WWE by anyone when he came out for the street fight a few years ago. It was crazy. He's super popular, and it's interesting because I don't really know his music at all. And he played in the NBA All Star Celebrity Game a couple times, and there's some highlights of him playing in that. He's really put himself out there, and in some ways, it's weird because he really is becoming a political lightning rod, and in some ways, he is a leader for it, just like Jimmy Kimmel. That you're gonna find these interesting, weird leaders in Hollywood and like music, different places. The thing that's happening with Brody in AEW is, we're getting a really weird leadership from different places that are different. And I salute Bad Bunny for standing up for what he stands for. That's right. Stargate saying at Kespera, a lot of us here have been staunch followers of NBA Chev since he began. His switch is evident, and it's not just the whole Sabonis thing either. It's more than that. Yeah. Yeah. We've definitely been allies with the Chev channel up until recently. And that's the diversion right there. That's the diverting from him. It's like, look, you're not with us anymore in a healthy way. You're not seeing things clearly for what's good for the Raptors and getting to the second Larry O'Brien for our team. That's all we care about here on the Raptor Freak channel. I don't give a shit about anything else. Everybody dotes on everybody else other than the Raptors. We dote on the Raptors here. First and foremost, we are the priority. And that's why I'm like, I don't want Pat Connaughton. He's the scraps from the Charlotte Hornets. We don't need him. Have some pride for our team. And let's put ourselves first. And let's go for the second Larry O'Brien. That's the only thing I give a shit about on this channel. If Chev cares about clicks and subscriptions and super chats and shit like that, well, he's not like me. Let's just put it that way. Because I have one goal, and that's to get the next Larry O'Brien for the Raptors and get more of them going forward. Even one's good, but two's going to be great, and 3, 4, whatever. We're going to get them. That's what we want. Scotty wants that. I want that. Darko wants that. Masai wants that. Yeah, yeah. Neil saying Pistons versus Raptors will be a physical matchup. We will have to keep Pistons off the 3-point line. Yeah, I'll scout them tomorrow, and I'll have my preview on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow, Tuesday trivia, 9:30 a.m. Be ready for more Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia. It's fun. 200 points per question, and hopefully you'll come in and play some trivia with me. Hopefully you enjoyed the Jason Capono trivia last week and the Mark Gasol trivia the week before. Lots of fun. Learning about former Raptors and their history. That's right. Stargate saying, and he shouldn't have to come around. The fact that he has to come around to anything tells me a lot about him as a fan. If he's a really astute, intelligent basketball head, like he knows the sport, like if he understands the game, something's not computing. And that's what Stargate and I are saying here. If he really is such a basketball savant and knowing the game and all kinds of stuff, if he's really knowledgeable about the old head being in the game, what's wrong here? What's the disconnect? That's what we're questioning right here. What's going on here? That's right. If you have to wait for someone to come around to something about our team, tell me a lot about them as a fan. Yeah. In some ways, we're diehards. We're crazy. People call us cultists. We were the Raptor Freak cult, Raptor Freak family. We are the positive ones. We are the ones who are really for real and passionate and true to the team, no matter what. And that's the thing. In some ways, people's egos will get in the way of that passion at some point. It's not important for me to be right all the time. I just want the Raptors to win. Some of those guys that cover the Raptors, their ego's involved and they have to be right. And they will hold on to things and they will talk out of their ass through their ego. And that can be part of the problem here too. Is that in some ways I don't mind being wrong. I was wrong that the two ways and Jonathan were not in Mississauga yesterday. I will admit my mistake. I'm not that above making mistakes. Some people are against having mistakes and they won't admit it because they have role models that are like this and that show I'm unaccountable for anything I say. I can get away with anything. I don't have to say anything and apology for that. No, fuck that. You got to be real with shit. That's what I'm saying right here. That's right. Kareem's saying we need to shift our energy about Detroit being some big bad bully. We got Scotty and RJ can bully his matchup. We don't know who they are against us. We can see their record, and maybe they had an easier schedule for a lot of the season. I don't know. Until we play them, I'm not buying anything about them. I don't look at them being at the number one in the East and go, ooh, I'm scared. No, I want to see how we match up with them. We may match up really well with them and kick their ass. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm not giving any credit to the Detroit Pistons until I see them beat us. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm not, that's the way I am. I don't give a shit what their record is now. You come play us and beat us, and then I'll give you respect then. How about that? How about that? Yeah. Wayne's saying our new player, Trace, is a big man. Under our development mode, this young man will equalize most of the centers in this league. Throw Yak into the mix, and the Raptors' weaknesses really disappear. Yeah, really. That's what Darko said yesterday. He was saying, Darko, the strengths and the weaknesses of your team. And Darko said, no, we do not have any weaknesses on this team to the reporter. The reporters held Scotty up. Like Scotty wanted to leave. He was done with his report, his interview last night. And Michael Grange jumped in there and said, Scotty, why do you love Darko? I'm like, motherfucker, what is this question? Why don't you let that man get up out of his seat and go home to see his daughter? Seriously, why are y'all holding up Scott? He's done. They said, okay, no more questions. Michael Grange jumping in there with his garbled, Scotty. This bullshit. Let that man get up out of his seat. He worked hard in the third quarter. Let him go home. Stargate saying at Wayne, 100%. Don't ever say I don't agree with anything Wayne says. All right, there you go. I love this. Look at this. That's right. Kesper's saying we can't play like OKC because the league with their narrative control would just rig the odds against us. That's why we have to focus on the bare bones basketball itself without extra media hype. Yeah. Yeah. I think that in some ways, with Scotty doing so well yesterday and mugging for the camera, general NBA fans are seeing the Raptors and they're kind of like, these guys are cool. Brandon's awesome. I forgot about Brandon Ingram. He's on the Raptors now. Ooh, look, they are kind of good. This is the thing. People are saying, like, why don't we talk more about the Raptors? And they are actually seeing it from the inside. Just like in the States, the truth is unveiled in all kinds of things with the bullshit of MAGA and Donald Trump doing what he's doing right now. There's no hiding the truth anymore. And the truth is very evident that the NBA does not cover the Raptors correctly. And more general NBA fans are coming to this realization recently with things like Scotty yesterday. They're like, man, you guys are right up in Toronto. We don't cover you guys right. We should be seeing you guys more. Yeah, they're finally realizing this. It really is like an age of where all the veils are lifted and the truth is just right in front of your face in all kinds of different aspects in the world and life right now. And one of them is the truth is revealed. The Raptors are not getting covered correctly by the NBA because the veil is lifted and people see the truth. They see the truth now. It's crazy, man. Kaloy saying, I fell to my knees when I saw the way TJD rebounds. Feels good to have a big. We've had bigs, Kaloy. What are you talking about? To have another big. Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I love him. I love him already. And I think that he's going to be fitting in with the guys very well, personality-wise. He seems like he loves it already. He came into the press conference very effusive of joy as far as like, this is a great organization, just like the one I just came from. He understands a good organization being around Golden State, but we don't have Draymond, so it's even better over here, yo. That's funny, man. Stargate saying we are 10 games over 500. 10 double digits, and people are still acting like we're a losing team. It's weird. Disappointed in not doing trades, nitpick players' performances in games. Weird. the reason why I think this is just symptomatic of all 30 teams is the Thunder Nation's like this too. The Thunder Nation is absolutely toxic and crazy, and they were like for a while this season going for breaking the NBA record for wins in the season. Like that's the canary in the coal mine. That's the truth showing itself right there in that area. If this shit is happening to all 30 teams, including the Oklahoma City Thunder, then this is just a general problem in the NBA at this point with social media noise and it just being a whole bunch of crap. Seriously. Because if there's this kind of action going on in Thunder social media spaces, and there is, you can go find it. You can find all the crazy, same kind of toxic shit. And that's why I really truly believe this is all weaponized shit by other teams that hate other teams, fans putting up bots and making them set up to go into other teams' fan spaces and cause confusion and bullshit. You know, it could be a Spurs fan that's sending all kinds of shit to Thunder Nation. It could be a Knicks fan sending all kinds of shit to Raptors Nation. So understand this. And that's why I say don't, just like in life, you don't judge people by the color of skin, right? You judge them by their actions. And when you see people talk online about the Raptors, judge them for what they're saying and whether that's actually healthy or good for the team or not. And then you need to, that's all you need to know about whether there's somebody that you're with or you align with or you think is a good fan or somebody who's actually for the team. They're talking about firing Bobby. They're not for the team. They're not for the team. That's somebody who sees a really good GM running things in Toronto and they want him out. It's the same kind of shit that was coming at Masai for a long, long time. Fire Masai, fire Masai. Why did anybody want to fire Masai other than Ed Rogers? Nobody should have wanted to fire a Masai. Nobody. I'm telling you, this is subterfuge. This is espionage. This is social media trolling and catfishing to the highest level. And it happens to all 30 teams, all which way, all over the place. The Knicks Nation gets it too. The Celtics Nation gets it too. The Rockets Nation, the Laker Nation, the Jazz Nation, the Trailblazers Nation, the Magic Nation, the Heat Nation. They got it all around the whole NBA. So when you understand this mechanism, you don't fall for it like nephews. You can understand it and see it for what it is. And like I said, judge a person by their actions, not by their category or who they are or whatever. You're trans. No, you could be a good trans person. You could be a bad trans person. You could be a good white person. You could be a bad white person. You know, you could be, you know, it's just how it is. So I say, if you're a fan, you could be a good fan or you could be a bad fan. A good fan supports their team and roots for their team and knows the role, and they're a fan. They're not a GM, they're not a coach, and they root for their team and they enjoy when their team wins and they're sad when they lose. But when they lose, they don't act out toxically like a petulant little toddler kicking the ground in a mall because their mom didn't buy them a fucking snow cone. I mean, seriously, this is what we're talking about here. Come on now, let's go. KT saying this, I believe in UBI, universal basic income. We are all human beings and deserve to live life, at least in a basic format. When this eventually happens, money ain't a thing. Health and happiness are. That's the thing. The scarcity and the dog eat dog world is set up by the top level capitalists to instigate you to get out there and get in the rat race. And well, in some ways, if we had a society built on care and for all and equality, we could solve a whole lot of shit real fast. And these motherfuckers wouldn't have any power. That's why they don't like this shit. That's the secret is out. We, the people, do we make our governments? Do we make our systems? Do our systems work for us? Or do they work for a select crew of oligarch billionaires? That's what we have to find out in the next part, because this is the thing. They're going to try and make the system completely for them and rig it and make it a dystopian, totalitarian dictatorship world. We have to rise up as the people and say there's more of us, and we want our world and our future to be something that's worth handing over to our children in the future too. And that's just so important, guys. This is so important. We can't sideline. You can't tell me you're not political and just sit on the side. You have to understand the what is at stake. And if you don't do something now, there may be people in your family line down decades and centuries after you. They're like, why didn't great grandpa do something in 2026 when he had a chance to before all this bullshit started? We've got to understand this right now. This is the biggest fight of our generations and our times. And we got to fight against the dystopia where most of us are in prison. Would you rather in prison, or would you rather have a world of care and a world of equality for all? That's what we got to fight for here, guys. Because that one side is not going to want that. They're going to want their 500 houses and 50 yachts and their fucking bullshit. And they don't care if a million people are starving otherwise. And that's where this world's gone to a bad turn with capitalism. Unfettered, unregulated capitalism gets you to this point. And in some ways, that's why the systems that have gotten to us this point have failed us, and they need to be destroyed. And we need to start over. And when we build a new system, there should be a ceiling and a floor of income so that everybody is taken care of and nobody's grossly getting incredibly rich in a way that is absolutely unnecessary or disgusting. There should be a ceiling on income and there should be a floor. And that floor should take care of all basic needs for everyone. That's the thing. We'll get back to creativity. We'll get back to innovation. The United States and North America won't be behind the rest of the world as far as medical breakthroughs and all kinds of stuff because the priorities are lined up in the correct way once again. Instead of being a bottom line at the end of a quarter and a profit, it's more about what are we doing for innovation and how are we serving the community and the people better than just our CEOs with bottom lines and bonuses. You know what I'm saying? This is heavy shit, and this is very, very, very important. And this is not a political thing. Some people say this is political. It's not. This is a human thing. This is for humans. It's either for this or it's for your heart and the people around you. And what do you want to win? What do you want to win? That's what I'm going to say right there. That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying this: the championship broke a lot of people's brains. It's always a championship or bust with them. You don't become a contender overnight. It takes time. We were in an upswing, and nephew still complains. That's the thing. People got they came in and they only felt the championship feelings because that's the only time they jumped on the bandwagon. And they just want that feeling again. It's like a dopamine. They want to feel that again. And when they're not getting it, they get all testy and weird. When they're not realistic, they don't really understand the NBA. They're casuals. They're Johnny come latelys that just felt the vibes of 2019 and they liked it and they want to feel it again. It's sad. It's like they're not educated Raptors fans and they just don't understand the reality of it all. To get a championship is a big deal, and it's not something that happens all the time. The other thing is, in general, the NBA has changed the way the press covers it. ESPN's to blame for this. In some ways, they built up a championship or bust mentality. Where in the old NBA, when I was growing up, the Utah Jazz were a very respected team with Malone and Stockton. They did not win a championship. They were very fun to watch. They were entertaining. They had very successful regular seasons. They had good playoff runs, but they never won a championship. Do you consider the Utah Jazz of the 90s with Stockton and Malone a failure? No. That's what I'm saying. There's a certain levels of different success. You can be a championship team. You could be a perennial playoff team that absolutely does well in the regular season every year, and you're just as fun to watch and you're winning ways, even though you never got the championship. That's the thing that's lost in today's world is that it's Ricky Bobby mentality, number one or nothing. You got to be in Talladega Nights and number one or nothing. If you're not that, it's bullshit. And, only one team's going to win every year. Everybody else is going to be miserable. No, I say if you have a successful year like the Raptors are having right now, in some ways you should be able to enjoy that success, even if it doesn't end with the Larry O'Brien. And that's championship or bust mentality is toxic in the NBA world. And it is prevalent all around the league once again. And I blame ESPN and other media sources in the United States for this shit. I really do. I really, really do. Wayne saying, there we go again, assuming damn garbage about people's motives behind their opinions. Shev has been talking shit for a long time. He went after Van Vliet hard. Really personal crap. Nothing to see here. See, Wayne's known Shev for who he was. And he's saying, well, you know what? It's just showing more of it. Yeah, I didn't like the way he went after Fred. In fact, that was a good litmus test for whether these are people I should listen to or not. How do you feel about Fred Van Vliet? Tell me how you feel about Fred Van Vliet. And, well, if your opinion's a certain way, well, I'm going to judge you, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't need to listen to this person. Seriously. Because Fred's a winner. Fred's a bona fide champion in life. He's a champion in the G League, a champion in the NBA. He's an all-star. And he's also got the record for the most assists in a game and the most points in a game in a Raptors jersey. So respect that. Respect that. Respect that is what I say. And if you don't respect Fred VanVleet, well, you're telling me something about yourself. And I'm not going to take your word as seriously. Let's just put it that way. Stargate saying, there we go. Assuming people are daft and can't see sudden drastic changes in someone's perspective on a team. If it's subtle, okay, but it has not been subtle. So don't insult our intelligence. Yeah. I mean, we're talking a lot about Chev today, but in some ways, I don't mind because this is a topic you guys want to talk about. And it does seem like this is coming to a forefront right now. It doesn't make any sense, NBA Chev. Get happy. Come on, Partridge family. Come on, get happy. That's right. That's right. Kaloy saying, sorry, Darko, but I want more of this takeover, Scotty. I know. I'm with you. And I've used those terms myself, but I do listen to my coach, and he says he doesn't want us to say taking over the game. Maybe I'll try and do that, but it may be hard, Darko. I will try. I will try. Mr. Quasimodo is saying those are the words of a tyrant. Those are used in terms of torture. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, look, we got to understand words have a lot of power. And in some ways, we don't want to make a more violent, brutal world. We want to make a more caring, sympathetic community where people are looking out for each other. You know, if there's an old person in your neighborhood, you know, you should look out for them. Seriously. I'm not asking you to go shovel their driveway, but in some ways, you know, community is important. You know, you need to have, you know, look out for people that are maybe more vulnerable than you in society. And, you know, like, God forbid the shit hits the fan, you know, do you care about disabled people that live near you? Do you care about old people that live near you? Do you care about vulnerable women? Do you care about vulnerable children? You know, the stuff that's going on in Minneapolis is still happening, and that community is banding together against ICE, and they're very successful in some ways, but it's also very terrorizing. In some ways, it's fucked up. You know, they're coming into people's houses in the middle of the night and running in their houses and making kids cry and dragging people out in the middle of the night. You know, this is Nazi Germany's shit. And, you know, the community comes together and strengthens itself and bonds, and they're doing a good job of trying to help each other. But still, this is stuff that should not be happening. These ICE raids in Minneapolis, it's really disgusting. So that's the thing. Do we want to have a world of empathy and sympathy in a way that we look out for each other? Yes. We don't want to be this brutal world of violence. I mean, that's not going to help anything or anybody. It's just going to destroy, and it's going to make a lot of pain and anguish and hurt for a lot of people. It doesn't have to be necessary. You know, we don't need to do this. We don't need to do this. Let's be people for each other and not against each other. You know what I'm saying? Stargate saying my mom's family is Halifax, Dartmouth to be specific. Alternated summers between New York and there. What a drastic difference, eh? I guess that is pretty different. Yeah, it makes you rounded to who you are. It makes you part of who you are. KT saying we need a nickname for Trace Jackson Davis. The three-letter shit is too much. Let's hope he fits right in and gets coined a nickname by Matt Devlin. Yeah, I don't know. This will take some time. We'll just have to see. I don't think he has one on his basketball reference page. I don't think he does have a nickname. They've been just calling him TJD. I think TJD. Yeah, like Kaloy saying here. Let's see. I wonder what Golden State fans called him. I don't know. I think they just called him TJD. Smooth saying, I didn't really know about Bad Bunny other than being married to Selena Gomez. See, I didn't even know he was married to Selena Gomez. I only knew him from the name was kind of goofy. I was like, oh, there's an artist named Bad Bunny? That's interesting. And then I knew him from the wrestling and the basketball, like the NBA All-Star celebrity game. That's it. That's the only places where I intersected with him. I knew that he was on wrestling. He came and showed up for that. All right, let's see. We got a call today. Let's see. Hello, caller. You're on the Raptor Freak call-in show. How are you today?
Hello. Good morning. I'm calling from Scotiabank at Kingston Walden Morningside. Can I speak to Alexi?
Yes, this is him. But I'm sorry, I'm doing a radio call-in show right now at the moment, and you are on the air on the show right now. Could you maybe call me back in like maybe an hour or so?
An hour? Okay.
Yeah, call me back in a little while, Scotiabank. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
At least it wasn't Vinay. All right. That's the first time that's happened. A call other than for the show. Scotiabank's calling me for some reason. We'll talk to them afterwards. We'll see what it's all about right there. Let's keep going. Kareem Thomas is saying J-Lo, Shakira, Ricky Martin sold out. They made English music to get into the American music scene. Bad Bunny kept it all the way real and does his stuff in Spanish. Yeah, yeah, I've heard that, and in some ways he's gotten further because of that. That's part of it. Yeah, Wayne saying, I assuming simply means an opinion without facts or analysis. Personally, I disagree with Chev on many topics without saying he's getting money to change or have a divergent viewpoint. Very simple. Well, to be a YouTube content creator, there is a whole side of financials. And that I'm very rare in this whole ecosystem. There's not many people that have the mentality that I have. Like I said, I could have turned on so many different things on this channel to make way more money right now, and I don't want to. In some ways, I am an anti-capitalist, and this is part of the way I make my stand, is to show just how frivolous and stupid it is. To think that Chev and Pensair and Luca Rosano and Raptors Digest and Amateur Hour, all these different other Raptors content makers do not change or inform their content with the whole aspect of the monetary economics of it is to be a little naive. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. Some people on their YouTube channels get really in the nuts and bolts and look at where they lose people. I mean, I could probably see where I lose people in my chat when I talk politics or this subject or this. I don't care. I'm not going to the analytics or trying to shape how I do my show just because people stop watching me all of a sudden on my live. I don't give a shit about that. But these guys may. And it could very well be that Chev saw trends in what he's doing with his content, and he's like leaning more towards what he thinks will get him more clicks. I'm just saying that when somebody's monetized and they do care about getting more subs and they're promoting and they're putting a lot into their channel like that, that is what I tend to think. To be like me is rare, and in some ways it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. Most people, will want to try and maximize their profits from their YouTube channel. So that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. Let's see. Fiercely saying Bad Bunny shouted out most of the countries of America, including Canada, Haiti, Jamaica, amongst others. Beautiful showcase of diversity, symbolism, unity, and I made sure my daughter watched it with me. Fantastic stuff. Winning W mom over the weekend. We're gonna give Fiercely a dunk for the great basketball mom she is. And just being such a great influence and raising such a great daughter. 21, you got the Thad Young 21. That makes sense. You got Thaddy Daddy 21 on a parental dunk right there. I love it. I love it. Kareem saying, last I checked, we beat the best team in the West. We are Slayers. I don't like that word either. Once again, these are fucked up words, man. That's a good band. But man, you guys got to tone down your terminology and listen to what you're saying with your words, Kareem. Some of the shit you say in the Discord, I'm like, wow, cringe. Why is Kareem saying that? Like, I know some of your jokes and at times, like I've given you dunks for your offbeat kind of jokes, but sometimes your jokes are dark and kind of fucked up, and I don't like them. Let's just put it that way. Either way, keep going and keep trying to get the dunks, but man, lighten up and let's be more positive. Let's see. Detroit don't know the kind of slingshot we got. Goliath is just a name. I like this. I like this. I like this mentality right here because we haven't seen them yet. We don't know how we match up with them. Once again, let's not assume Detroit is going to kick our butt. Let's go in there and give them the best chance that we can, and we're going to beat them in our home court on Wednesday. That's right. Kestra's saying, league fandom logic. If you're not the Lakers or Knicks or don't have a LeBron, KD, Curry, or insert overhyped first-round generational talent, you're bad. Yeah, nephews, logic, young nephews, logic. That's what this is. Fiercely saying, fam, soon Darko will be game planning against Scotty at All-Stars, and we will root for Colin and Elijah. So happy the Raptors organization has great representation. I think that Matt and Alvin were right when they're talking about Darko scheming for Scotty. In the All-Star, he doesn't need to be coming up with plans against his own player. In some ways, you need to just let Scotty do what he's going to do. They're saying that they're going to be competitive and go at each other, but I don't like that. I think in some ways, Darko, we don't need to give secrets about our team by doing stuff that you know about Scott from coaching him against him in the All-Star game. It's not worth it. This is an exhibition. Sometimes people don't give a shit about this game to the point where why would you give a shit about giving away secrets about Scotty in competition when this competition don't mean jack shit. So don't do it, Darko. Don't try and scheme for Scott. Don't give a shit about that. Scotty goes, gets it. It makes us look good. So don't do this. I know you guys are competitive. And in some ways, I want Team World to win the whole thing, but don't do it to the detriment of your all-star Scotty Barnes and trying to stop him. Stop Cade, stop all the rest of those guys for sure. But maybe you don't come up with a game plan for Scotty. Okay. That's what I would say. I think that that's right. Matt Devlin was right when he said that, even though these guys are ultra competitive. Let's see. Fiercey's got my cutoff, and Monique's not here. So thank you, Fiercey. And let's see. Wayne's saying, if Musk believes in that, what he's saying, why not start now with his current employees? I know. That's why I don't believe him. I think when he says that, he just means extreme high income. That means only the high income people will survive and everybody else will be dead or in prison. I think that's what he means when he says that. I don't believe one letter from a Nazi South African who denies my ancestors' greatness. Ain't no pyramids in Europe. Yeah, that is a dunk right there. Wayne's getting a dunk for dunking it on fucking Musk, and he's exactly right. I agree with everything he's saying right there. I took it as far as I could throw him, but it's interesting that he's saying that and that he's agreeing that UBI is going to be necessary for the future. You got the Pickering 6, Wayne Strainer. Good job, man. Let's see. Stargate's laughing. Fiercely saying, I thought that was a prank call. No, that was real business right there. That was a real call from me from Scotiabank. That's right. Monique is here. Good morning. Great win. Good morning to you, super fan. Always great to see you in the chat. Kareem saying, damn, Lex, I thought she was from Scotiabank Arena about to give you floor seats for the rest of your life. Damn, that was close. No. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It's okay, though. I don't need that. Stargate saying, I didn't say Chev was getting money. I said I believe he is based on the evidence. Belief is a belief. Belief is not a fact. Comprehension skills, sir. It's all good. You guys don't need to be button up. It's all good. You guys agreed earlier. Nameless is saying Davis is so mobile. His hands are fantastic and his IQ is great. Yes. Trace Jackson Davis. Yes. Yes. I agree with all that. Good to see the Italian plumber in the chat. Let's see what is going on my tabs real quick. I don't even want to deal with Raptors Reddit. Seriously, they're saying we're 2-0 in the Chris Paul era. Is there any breaking news about the Raptors this morning? Jonathan Mobo has been assigned to the Raptors 905. They've got a 2-game road trip Tuesday and Thursday. Blake Murphy 4 minutes ago on Blue Sky. So J-Mo has been sent to the 905. Doesn't say anything about the two ways. I wonder if they're going to. They could use them. Seriously, they probably need them. But Mobo is with the 905 for the Cleveland Charge game coming up. So that's interesting right there. Let me see. Is there any other ones from the Raptors people? No, that's it. There's your breaking news. Blake Murphy saying Jonathan Mobo assigned to 905. Y'all, we had our fantasy week finish up yesterday, and I got beat by Jason Dukes. He's put me at 13-3, same record as him, and he has taken the lead in our division. Wow. Good job, Jason. Really, really good job. Also in other games, Logical Raptors Fanatic beat Bryce. Andrew beat Cool Cat. MK beat Fiercey. James beat Omari. Gerald lost to Kareem. Kareem winning this week. And Amit won his game against Kaz. And HC, the one defeated, kept one defeated, winning over Nins in Philadelphia. So get your lineup set up. This All-Star week is weird because there's a break in this week, and it's going to be a long 2 weeks. So get your lineup set up for this All-Star time. All right, I guess I'm on the classic card at this point. All right, let me see. We're getting it done. Let's get out of here. Oh, I got to do this real quick. Y'all, real quick. Straight goods on Canadian goods. I got the Allen's apple juice today. This is a Canadian apple juice that y'all should be drinking. It's Canadian favorite, Allen's, low acid, from concentrate, 100% pure. It is high in sugars, but this is a Canadian product in the French too. So yeah, Allen's is your brand for all kinds of stuff, especially apple juice. Man, I love Allen's apple juice. I'm going to just drink this. I'm a bachelor. I live alone. I can drink out of the container, the whole big thing. I don't need a cup. If Adriana comes over, she can drink out of it with me too. She don't care. All right, let me see. Superfan Mo loves Trace already. I know, isn't he cool? He seems like he's got the right personality to fit in with our locker room already. That he's got the same kind of values of hard work and the way he looks at basketball, that he will fit in with people like Scotty and RJ. So I like that a lot. Yeah, Alan, you like that? That's your juice, Alan? Well, here you go. You got free advertising, Alan. I love it, man. Let's go. That's your juice. He's got the juice like Juventud. That's right. Juventud. Y'all know Juventud? Oh, wow. This is the perfect, man. This is awesome. We got a good classic card today, y'all. I love this one. This is so good, man. This is so good. Yeah. All right, here we go. Be quick. Be quick or be dead. That's what they say, Iron Maiden. All right, here we go. Look at this one. I might have to keep this one. This one's fun, y'all. This one I might have to keep, y'all. If you know who this is, you're awesome. That's right, Stargate. This is our former coach of the year and our our guy in the pregame with Leo Routins and Kate Burness. It is Sam Mitchell. Look at Sam in that Minnesota Timberwolves jersey. Look at the muscles on Sam Mitchell, and understand that is his team in some ways. He loves the Timberwolves. That was a big part of what his career was. But he is also a big Raptors guy too, obviously. But Sam Mitchell is the classic card of the day. That's awesome. I'm gonna give you 100 points for that one, Stargate. Stargate's not always getting the classic card, so it's cool to see him get it. Sam Mitchell, that's right. NBA Coach of the Year for the Toronto Raptors. Sam Mitchell. That's right. Sam's grown on me. I've had times where I'd be like, get Sam off TSN. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? He's so crazy. And the stuff he says is so awesome. And he is showing more respect towards the Raptors recently. You know, sometimes it's because he was just dumping on the team too much. But he's more for the Raptors now in some ways. I like it. I like it. You know, I like it. So yeah, Sam Mitchell, you got my respect again. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. W stream, W vibes. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate you being here today. My stars of the game for yesterday's game once again. First for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes, first star. Sandro Mamukelashvili, second star. Emmanuel Quickly, third star. RJ Barrett, fourth star. Fifth star, Jacoby Walter. Sixth star, Trace Jackson Davis. And seventh star, Grady Dick, giving out 7 stars yesterday. And for the 905 victory, Julian Reese, number 1 star with a monster game, 20 and 17. Tyson Degenhart, second star. Patrick McCaw, third star with 6 steals. Olivier Sarr, 4th star, and Jarkel Joyner is the 5th star. And the 905s win over Motor City Cruise. All right, tomorrow, Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia. Be there or be square, 9:30 a.m. That's right. That's right. I don't get it because Slug is always so quick on the trigger. Yeah, Slug DZ is usually very fast. Very fast. And once again, y'all, get your Allen's apple juice. This stuff's so good, man. It's just tasty. It's good. It's good. It's a diuretic. It'll help you clear out your system. And it's got such good like vitamins and good stuff for you. I'm not trying to do no chugging contest today, y'all. That's right. I drink out of the jugs in my house, so I thought it was the only one, but other 3 do it as well, too. Well, you're all family, right? So the wife and kids are drinking out of the jugs, too. See, you can do that. If it's just like that, you guys don't care. It's just like that. You know, in some ways, you're being economical, right? Because if you just drink it straight out of here, you guys want a life hack? You don't have to do as many dishes. You don't have to wash a cup. Because if you just drink it out of there, right? Duh, you know, hello. You know, I do shit like that all the time. I mean, I'm a bachelor. I live here by myself. Nobody's judging me. So if I eat a can of baked beans out of the can without even cooking it, are you going to judge me? Some people will. Yeah, you should at least cook it, Lex. No, I just don't want to dirty a plate or a bowl or anything. I'll just eat it out of the can cold. I don't even give a shit about warming it up. Yeah. Yeah, bachelor life. That's what you do right there. Yeah, Dale Davis. What are you talking about, Dale Davis? That's Sam Mitchell. Let's go, Raptors.